Good evening and welcome to the Town of Buzzard County Board meeting of September 4th, 2025. It's 6:01. We're gonna proceed with a call to order and roll call. Tonight, we have present from the planning board, Mrs. Penny Morale, Mr. Richard Baker, Mr. Peter Sargent, Mr. Craig Alexander, Mr. George Seal, and myself, Sarah Langet, together with Mr. Hans Rasmussen. We will ask the audience to introduce themselves and to speak out loud your name so the owl can pick it up. And hopefully you already have signed in. All right? Please.
I've already signed in.
Can you say out loud
Oh.
your name?
My name is Adam Ellis. I'm here for a subdivision for the Cluleys.
Okay,
And I'm Vicky Cooley.
all right,
Tim Cooley.
Tyler Evans.
thank you,
Vern Penny.
all right,
Charlene Williams.
all right. And Lorna Nichols, our town manager, is in the back. Is there any reason why you are in the meeting today? You wanna speak first?
Just introduce myself. I'm trying to make the rounds of all our boards and committees just to see how things are going, see what I can do to help, and just to be better informed.
All right, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Don't think too poorly of us after this.
I won't, George.
So, that said, we will proceed with the items in the agenda. The first item in the agenda is the applicant is Douglas Stream subdivision with Tyler Evans. Location is Mill Stream Loop. Map 3, lot 7 and 8. And the purpose is a subdivision preliminary. So with that, I would like to add that we did a site visit on Tuesday, August, that was the 24th, wasn't it? I was that, it was a Tuesday night, afternoon at 4:30.
26?
26, thank you.
Was it the 26th?
Thank you.
That was a Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you. So, it was Tuesday 26 at 4:30, we met at the site. It was, Mr. Alexander, myself, Mr. Surgeon, and Hans at the beginning. It was only, three of us, except for Mr. Surgeon, Mr. Surgeon, I was toward the end. Mr. Evans was there as well. We walked the far end of the subdivision and the front end of it. And we took notes about the 6 lots. We did the first walk up by ourselves, the 4 of us, then Mr. Surgeon joined us and we debriefing into it. And he and I walked site again. A big note from that visit for us was that we have to do some research as a board, looking into the dates of how things went about. Those lots there were under the care of people before shoreline zone ordinance. So they were the work that was done there kind of was previous to the ordinance to come in. Now the ordinance come in, and we want to be working with that for that subdivision. In this particular application, both ordinance do apply. It's in the subdivision 1 and the shoreline zone, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I just wanna make clear that to the audience. And so we have to do some record looking with the files and double check the dates and on that portion of things. And then, there was a consensus of the group at the site that we should check with DOE and have, Colin Clark, weigh into this matter because of the language of the law and that kind of thing. All right? We spoke about that at the site.
We talked about it, but, I did not contact him,
Mhm.
because I didn't know how you were gonna proceed with the situation, and until then, because he's gonna have questions too. So
Okay.
I'm waiting. basically
That,
for
I think that
direction.
was one of the concepts that were kicking around during the site, visit. And at the end, just for kicks, the surgeon show up with a tape measure and we measured the length of, the part end lot. And it was to the T to what the, drawing, show us. So that was, very assuring and, it was kind of cool to have that experience all together, to checking out the site. Mr. Seal had a site, visit himself, he did very nice notes about it. And with that, I don't know, Mr. Seal, wanna add anything to what I said?
No, there's no sense repeating what I put in my notes from my visit. I appreciate Vern and Tyler taking the time out of their schedule to show me around, and I got to see a lot. Walked 2 lots in considerable detail, mostly focusing on trying to figure out where the wetlands were and where they weren't. I would note though that one thing based on the discussion just now, that might be an error in my notes, whereas I was under the impression that DEP, 2 representatives from DEP had already been to the site. Sounds like they have not. Is that
Correct, yeah, Colin has him. Hans was there with,
I was with, Laura Bullard from Natural Resource Protection, and not actually on, his property, but the property at the end of the road.
okay? All right, so my notes are not wrong.
Right.
Anyway, that's part of the project file. That's public record.
we had talked about the Colin Clark thing, that was a discussion we all had on site, but it made a bit ambiguous as to what the next step was. We had talked about that being one potential hurdle to get us over, but then once we dug into some of the literature of the shoreline ordinance, with either the select board or the special exceptions, it seems like there may be other approaches that don't.
So I take it we haven't heard back from DEP with any opinions or conclusions that they reached based on their site visit. I understand even some soil borings were taken.
Yeah, he's has a report on that, it was all clear, that was on the adjacent property, but we were the same
Yeah,
source.
that was the adjacent property. We're looking at the wetland area, which she designated as a very small area with no setbacks.
Okay.
Tyler did have his property delineated,
Correct.
and
And that
they,
triggered that visit, he mistakenly delineated a bit further, he went beyond my scope, and so that triggered it with the abutter.
and the maximum area they found was 5 acres.
Yeah,
Which does not trigger
Not in
shoreline
the-
zone, because it's less than 10 acres.
So from here. Do you have anything else to add to the preliminary here? Right?
yeah, we have the updated map that we brought in full scale for you folks to see, and that has the 250 shoreline setback and the 100-year flood elevation on the preliminary plan. And this was per George's request on site. We had this information, it wasn't merged into one hand, yeah.
Well, and not just my request, but the order.
Right.
While they're pulling that, the other items we have for us are information on the flood insurance study done. The shoreline zoning mapping. The something about special exception in shoreline zoning and also a waiver request. Thank you.
Were the measurements of the lot width there, where you got 203 plus or minus on them? Do they measure them a straight line from fin to fin, or do they measure as the shoreline goes?
Question for Vern.
Is all right?
It's not the short one.
So you following the shore? Is that the definition in the ordinance calls for the shoreline width of the lot along the shoreline to be 200 feet? And that's in a straight line, not in following the shoreline.
That's in the shoreline zoning ordinance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus the subdivisions.
Yes, yeah. No, the shoreline.
Can you repeat the question, Mr. Baker? I didn't hear.
Oh, the question was where, when the lots were set up,
Mhm.
and they established the width of the lot on the shore. You need 200 feet of shore frontage measured in a straight line from pin to pin of the lot, from one lot to the other. Straight, not following if the shoreline goes in. You can't cut across the pole, you have to cut across the pole. We go from. If you look at these lots here.
Yeah,
The shoreline isn't perfectly straight.
that's right.
And with the shoreline zone ordinance calls for the shoreline. The frontage on the water to be at least 200 feet as measured in a straight line from the shoreline pin to the shoreline pin of the lawn.
We'll make sure they are. This is the original map, so this is when the lots were created back in 1992. Pins were set, trees were placed, road was built. This is that plan for the previous owner, where everything was mapped out.
I wasn't at the last meeting, so
Yeah.
if these lots were already established, were they not filed in the registry of deeds or?
Correct, so they were to be given to blood relatives. They did the floodplain elevation mapping as well, to make sure that they weren't, and see if that was a gift back to blood relatives. And they got to work, everything that we're proposing is what they had started, that's why the road was built, in front of there, and that. There's
They're saying
like we built at the end of the year, it was about power and it's up here.
it could be less than that.
So that's put it on, I was vacant for 40 years.
You go where.
Straight look at the shores. It's like, right? Grandfather and.
So they have two.
There's information here. It's, now that's information.
Yeah.
That was my question, was the last grandfather or were they not?
Straighten that
If they were grandfathered, I wonder why.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. If these were. And we'd need some documentation to show that, but these lots were indeed. Registered as lots. They legally exist, then. It isn't so much why that you're before us, but why is this not just a change to an existing subdivision?
Right, so. he never-
Unless they never got subdivision approval.
They did not, 'cause they wouldn't have needed it.
Oh, right, because we were giving them to relatives.
Exactly, it's a very special exception, so then there were no transfer deeds that then get recorded, so to give. The circumvent subdivision, because this was all part of the entire 90+ acre piece, I'm up there later, 80 acres, this was part of the Millstream subdivision. It was done at the same time.
Right, I just wanna make sure I'm getting the right end of the stick here. This plot plan was registered with the registry of deeds or not?
So. First two were recorded, which showed all of this. This was not recorded with the sign, this would have been. After those two which are recorded. We went out and we found every one of the pins that were set to these lots. So they are already designed, but not by logic. And it's finding the frontage on the string to make an adjustment, to make everybody over something. And it's not a big deal, but the pins were there. So, no, they haven't been approved yet.
Right.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, I just ruminating.
The other question that I had is you mentioned, possibly getting a special exception for a single family home in the resource protection. The section of the ordinance, 16E. One of the requirements is the lot on which the structure is proposed is undeveloped and was established and recorded in the registry of deeds of the county in which it's located, before the adoption of the resource protection. And apparently recorded, so I think that's problematic in terms of getting a permit to build a single family home. Unless it was one home for the whole thing.
Right.
And at the same time, I know there's a reading minutes or the site visit, and there's a question about whether this even meets the criteria for resource protection. And basically, it's not fish and wildlife, modern high value waterfowl habitat. It's not floodplain. It's not wetland, or the part that isn't wetland. Then it could be changed, but I don't think we can change the zoning on the map based on floodplain information. I know the floodplain maps earlier were not very good.
Right.
And areas got put into resource protection. Excuse me. That weren't. I think you might have information to show that it's not,
We do.
but I'm not sure that,
We don't have authority for that.
right.
The select board does, but I'm also
Well,
not
it wouldn't
applying
be
for
the
a permit.
select board, it would be the townspeople and.
Yes. It says the select board can by majority vote. In the shoreline ordinance.
It's municipal body,
Pardon me?
it says municipal body,
Governing body, right?
yeah,
It does say that?
Yeah,
but
but I'm not applying for a permit either, so is that a hurdle for the
Is the
subdivision?
municipal body different than the assembly then? The municipal body will be, the select board?
Voters, I would say it would be town meeting voters,
Yeah.
municipal body,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's assembly, that will be the whole town.
yes.
I mean, they approved it, they're the body that approved the map and the ordinance at the time.
the
Some other
legislative
body
body of the
can't
town.
amend that.
Yeah,
That's less than the legislative body of the town.
But we're also not applying for a permit to build a structure. We're applying for subdivision to break lots. So that is potentially a hurdle that could be seen at the next phase, if and when these lots were to be. Permitted for structures, but right now we don't have a proposed structure.
So essentially, you're saying that, we're just getting permission to divide the lots. We're worried about whether we could build on that either or
Right.
later.
Go through that process, but don't let that hold up this.
So,
Alright, so
so Tyler and I talked a little bit about this, but now, we didn't reach any conclusion, because that would be inappropriate, that would be a part of communications, but the, just the fact that one option would be to kind of kick the can down the road. And separate the subdivision review and approval from whether or not you can build a structure on the lots that are created. And then that would delay things, but in terms of the sale and construction of the lots, it kind of also comes down to it's so that either at the time, I didn't know whether section 16E would apply or not, but it was an option. At that point in time, I didn't know the details of what we just learned tonight. But the other aspect is that that would, if we conclude that this indeed should not be in a resource protection zone, it should be some other zone, limited commercial or whatever it might happen to end up being. And it doesn't apply just to this parcel, it applies to it might apply to a long swath of Belgrade Stream. That would, we could pursue that separately, we as a board, I mean, and as town.
Because it doesn't meet the criteria. I mean, it's black and white. Like if you go through, it does not meet the criteria to be resource protected. So I understand there's a process to go through, but the hope is that that doesn't hold up this creation of the lots.
Yeah, so you're willing to take the risk as a buyer that you bought, basically you bought a, non-buildable lot at this point.
Correct. I did the due diligence on the front end.
You buy it,
Right.
then after that,
Right.
And you're gonna come back to the planning board to get a permit.
Yep. Yeah, we've got all.
You're the one taking all the risk.
Right, I did the day I bought it, but I knew it didn't meet X, Y, and Z for resource protection. That's why I paid for the wetland delineation, that's why we did the flood mapping and have spent all of the resources today to do that, so this is just the next step.
This is a side talk, so to speak, but you realize that you really will have basically to convince the town that it's not. And that you might not have a problem convincing us and convincing the DP, but that to change that little shaded zone, it takes the vote of the entire town.
Well, there's talk in the ordinance of the appeals board too, isn't there?
Yeah.
So if I applied for a permit and it was denied, I would go to the appeals board.
I just want you to have the broad view of this whole thing and.
Well, either is a resource protected.
And we have transparency and understanding how, I gotta understand, my background is technical, so I go from the worst case scenario.
Right.
So if one of the alternatives is that, this is all worked out and they say the powers to be say, oh, this is right, it doesn't meet the ordinance, it is, should not be, highlighted as a natural, source, a resource protected, site. But this have to go to the vote of the town.
I'm not 100% clear, that's not something the town can decide if it meets the criteria for resource protections.
They already have, they did when they adopted that map.
When it was thrown in there without, but they didn't do flood mapping, they didn't do wetland mapping, they didn't have the information that we have now, so they come through, FEMA comes with a broad brush. Paints it all blue, floodplain, until you spend as landowner the resources to go find the benchmarks at the railroad, go through. So if it's not resource protected by the criteria set.
So,
Then,
but then the map is gonna change colors and the town has to approve it before we can move forward, isn't it?
Yeah, but the town's gonna be approving a correction.
a correct, and they don't have to say, they don't say.
I don't imagine the town would disapprove or whatever, a change that brings things into line with the ordinance.
Nor should they have the opportunity to, I mean, there'd be no point in setting the points of the ordinance if it doesn't.
But we still have to go through that process,
Yeah.
so I understand.
But,
We cannot, the planning board cannot do anything till that map change colors.
well, I disagree.
No, I don't think so.
I think if we agree that we can separate the subdivision approval from the shoreline, the applicability of the shoreline zoning ordinance. to any structures, clearing, fill, or any of those kind of things that fall under shoreline zoning, then we can proceed with the subdivision review. Because, I mean, you know, we have a lot of the information we need to do that, and then, as I said before, with the when, whether it's Tyler building a home on speculation, or somebody buys a lot from Tyler and wants to build a home in the shoreline zone, then they have to come back. And hopefully by that point, we've resolved the issue of whether this is resource protection, and if it isn't, we've amended the ordinance.
So I guess my question will be, what will be the work of the planning board in that aspect that you said that we're keeping now in hand? Do we have to get involved in that?
Oh, absolutely. We're the ones that are responsible for amending the ordinance. I mean, obviously, the select board has a role too, but you know, the process starts with us. And we'll have, I mean, there'll be a cost to the town because we'll have to contract with the company that, up in Old Town or wherever they're located, New Hampshire now, I guess. That did the shoreline zoning mapping. And I mean, there'll be other tasks. I mean, I assume like last time, back in 2018, we'll go to Inland Fish and Wildlife to get their professional opinion. But in terms of, you know, the value of any wetlands that may be along the shorelines in various places, but like, for example, this little indentation right over here, I mean, it's pretty small, but be that as it may, don't need to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I think we need to go through the steps that we would normally take to determine what's the appropriate zone for a shoreline on a certain body of water. Whether it's this, which is one of the ponds.
When it comes to shoreline zoning.
Right, shoreline zoning. I think that's the question you were asking.
Yeah, well, the other aspect is, does the comprehensive plan committee have to be involved in the portion? No?
Correction.
No, I don't know, I don't think so,
I thought they were the ones that built the map.
no,
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 Okay.
the map was produced based on the criteria for the different districts.
yeah, the map that's in the current comprehensive plan is just a replication of what existed already. That KB cog put into a GIS format. The original mapping was Rich, I know you worked with that firm, I can't remember their name, but I think they used to be associated with Sewell Company, then they broke off, and. But I mean, there's there's more to this than meets the eye, because. We kind of dropped the ball back in 2018, and there's Inland Fish and Wildlife identified 2 wetlands, including one on Belgrade Stream, at least one on Belgrade Stream, that are high value waterfowl wetlands that were not mapped as resource protection. And they identified 2 that are in resource protection that they now classify as not being high value. And so we could update the map in that regard too, all at the same time.
It would be a good time to do it. Mike, go ahead.
In our process of subdividing this, are we gonna go through findings of fact and some other details that ask if this isn't a wetland resource protection or any of that? So are we gonna be able to approve this where it's in resource protection, or is the best way to go about it is to try to remove it from resource protection because it doesn't.
First.
Because it doesn't fit the standards.
I think we should look at that a little bit more closely, but I looked at it a little bit. I think we could move forward just on the subdivision and the findings of fact. There's one that says, is it in compliance with other town ordinances? If we did a condition of approval that said must comply with shoreline zoning, which is kind of redundant, but I think we could do that, but that might be something that all of us should look at more closely.
I will agree with that. And now I feel more, more comfortable with all of that.
I mean, that's a good point you're making, Craig. But, I think absent that, you know, we have documentation submitted, showing that the National Wetlands Inventory mapping for wetlands by U.S. Fish and Wildlife is in error. By a soil scientist that was submitted at the last meeting. We have other information, with regard to, well, or will have by the time we go through the preliminary subdivision plan and review that hopefully will be part of today's, what we need to accomplish today, but, you know, we have the application form, we have the map, the survey, we have, much of the information that's needed for the preliminary review stage. Then there's the final review stage, which includes some additional information that needs to be submitted, but you put all that, package all that together, if we get all that information, I think we can do the subdivision approval,
With the condition.
separate, yeah, with a condition regarding.
It's anything I would do, and wants to say
I do. Yes, so one piece to add to this is the state law, that was the DEP literature. There's Title 38, Waters Navigation, Chapter 3, Protection and Improvement of Waters, where it classifies the resource protection zone limited to the boundary of the river, stream, or brook unless A, B, C, D, or E. So where we have concrete proof that this isn't, can an inaccurate map prohibit us from moving forward? When we know,
These, we don't have authority on that. That we
But it's-
figure out by the way authority.
I think we need to go by the map that is there.
Mhm. Agree.
State law, that's a state law.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but my group have here certain authority and we have to go with what is current right now. And we understand that you guys I found that error, but you have to go and fight that as a separate group.
so that doesn't override the issue, though, the state law isn't superior to an inaccurate map.
Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, but, that is guidance to DEP and to towns on how to go about their shoreline zoning mapping.
I'm not sure what that actually is.
It's,
It was in the fact.
I assume it's a shoreline zoning statute,
It just seems crazy to be so hung up on something that is so obviously wrong.
I don't agree with you, but you gotta understand that we also have documentation that's already stamped and approved. And maybe it's not the correct information, but it's where we can guide ourselves. Yeah, there's a state law then, so I don't see, I wouldn't feel comfortable moving forward in that direction, just guiding myself by the state law.
But the town map doesn't even have boundaries, you know, it doesn't have, it's not scaled. The adjacent property is green, the other shore is green, which is where we've observed wetland vegetation, you know, if there's gonna be waterfowl, they're going to obviously be on the other shore that is not limited to any residential development. So it just seems so arbitrary that.
These are inside information that you have due to your research, but the rest of the public don't have this information.
well,
It's not common to the rest of the public,
and
that's my point.
just keep in mind, this mapping was last done, what, 2003. Last time the voters, voted on it, and the, 2003 GIS was just getting off the ground, the mapping just wasn't as accurate, so.
I see
I
how-
would be shocked if there weren't errors,
Right.
okay? And there just is, the ordinance, the shoreline zoning ordinance even makes provisions for correcting those errors if you, when and if you find them. It's just that we gotta follow that process and if we don't, we're not doing you any favors, to be honest with you, because what's gonna happen is, if we don't follow the process correctly, somebody's gonna buy one of your lots, they're gonna have a deed search done, the attorney's gonna throw up roadblocks, and that's when, you know, things are gonna go bad. So we might as well get it right the first time, is my personal opinion.
Okay. Well, what I was saying earlier, started to say was. I agree with George that we could separate the two, but if we do. It would certainly be in your. Benefit, no, benefit's not the word, but to your. Best interest, thank you, Ken. To make sure that those lots. That are approved by the subdivision, if the subdivision is approved, that those lots do in fact have 200 foot of straight line frontage.
Yeah.
Which you mean. Moving pins or whatever, but I'd hate to think that we approve the subdivision that the planning board
Right.
can't later give a permit for.
Right.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah, sure would.
That would be
We'll
real
make
bad.
sure that doesn't happen.
By the way, these are definitions in the Natural Resource Protection Act. But I didn't really catch exactly which,
Most word it defines the boundaries
the
of,
definition of a brook stream. That's fine.
to be resource protected.
You know,
It's defined at the edge of the brook, stream, river unless it is, forested wetland, wildlife refuge, communal public water supply. It lists out all the exceptions that would trigger it. And when this was done, because of the inaccurate mapping, that they thought it was in the floodplain or thought that it was wetland. It is not.
definitely different than shoreline zone.
So, you're comfortable with Mr. Steele's staff?
Yeah.
I'm comfortable
But
with
not
that.
everything I will say in the future.
My dad.
I,
It's not a blank check.
And, I wanna make sure that you're comfortable with it, I understand the frustration on your side. Because you have a good insight of understanding the law and so on, but the records that we have not been updated to that. And I'll be very reluctant to just, over the records and just grab your insight and move with it. Because as a group, we represent the board. Right, so I just
I'm good.
kindly ask you to work with us on that.
Absolutely.
And, okay,
We have Lorna here tonight and we have a town meeting in January, correct?
Yes, January 24th.
Would it be, do we have enough time to get this adjustment to the map
it's a good point.
on that ballot?
We're gonna have to also.
It will only be in person town meeting. Because we're changing fiscal years, so secret ballot, referendum questions. And election of officers will be done in June. So we'll have 2 town meetings next year, one January 24, and the other one, the board set the date as June 9 and 13.
This
So-
isn't really a referendum.
Let's go. for
There it
January.
would be June. Before we had referendum questions.
Yeah, but this isn't a referendum.
Yeah, so if it's just in person, then we could do it January, but. There's a 30. I would say there's a 30 date. Well, no, because we're not doing referendum.
The legislative
If
body is
if
not
you had,
important.
you know, early December, something. We might be able to make that work, if not, then I would look at maybe having something ready. April, early April. Or June.
I think the big question is, can we do our part in
Everybody,
quickly enough to get it on, to have it ready to go to the select board and all the rest of the process, get it on the ballot.
Could we focus on just this area to not drag this out any longer? For me, I mean, if there's, could it be done in phases? Does it need to be updated for the entirety, because there may be other areas and. Inland wildlife and fisheries might identify, but does that need to tie up my property? If it could,
I mean, one way is looking at their property,
right,
um. But if they end up changing the whole map, I mean, we don't have the information for the rest of it, we only have the information for your property.
right. If others haven't done the flood elevation mapping or the wetland mapping, then. Be a moot point, so if we're just making this amendment for this 800-foot section of shoreline to match the opposing shore and the adjacent shore. And with documentation that it's not wetland and is above the floodplain,
One problem with South Map is. We can't do anything until it's changed. We might be able to prove the subdivision.
right, but as far as getting it changed, I mean. I could see the process getting bogged down if we bring in consultants to look at the entire shoreline map for all the shore of Belgrade.
No, I wouldn't wanna do that.
I was gonna say, I'm not sure that I might be shocked by saying that, but I'm not sure that we couldn't, if we had the information. Clearly, if it is resource protection due to floodplain. And Tyler came to us and said, I prove that this is not in the floodplain. I don't know of anything that would prevent us from changing the map again through town meeting. Even if it only applied
With that section.
To that section,
effectively that
Yeah,
section. So,
yeah, I agree because, this, the only section that we have in concrete information about, you know.
Mhm.
Between the soil scientist mapping of wetlands. You know, where the floodplain is. Which, you know, minimal, because it's dam controlled. Et cetera, and, you know, we don't have that for the entire stretch of Belgrade Stream or.
That would require
That may
a
be
lot,
also
lot
a
more
question.
time, yeah,
You know,
yeah, doing that, a little more time.
So what are we saying, for him to move forward with the subdivision plans and subdividing it? And in the meantime, trying to get it on the ballot for the January town meeting?
That's my thinking, is he wanted to go that way. I don't think there's any reason to stop us from doing that. Going through this subdivision. And then him not worrying about, but making sure that the lots don't have to be in resource protection and the town changing it. I don't think that we could stop them from applying for the subdivision. Or, you know, say we're not gonna do anything until.
Well, they're kind of looking for a direction, so that's why I'm saying.
it sounds great to me. Get it on the. Town meeting in January and move forward with what we've got.
Yeah, so move forward now with what you have and.
Yes. Yeah, and then it's just a matter of that to pull permits.
Yeah.
Mr. Strickland.
Well, you know, I think we can do the subdivision route. Do that and you prove. That the evidence that it's not. Correctly defined, property, of the view,
What I do.
get a good lawyer.
Yeah.
so Lorna, comment for you or just a heads up for you. The last time we went down this path in 2018, the remapping that we're attempting to do of resource protection zones on the shoreline zoning map kind of got bogged down in the contractual arrangement or the attempt to make a contractual arrangement between the town and the mapping company, the GIS mapping company. So that's something at the time the town manager tried to help us with, or did help us with, and that may work for you.
Sure. I'm just gonna do whatever I can to help.
Thank you.
All right, so we got consensus tonight, that's wonderful. So from here, I want to start with you at, Don't we do acceptance first for that, or?
Well, I think we're at the stage where we, yeah, I think we need to,
Make it vote? No?
well, no, I don't think we're there yet. I think we need to determine if we got to complete that preliminary application, that's what the ordinance spells out, the next step being. We also, regardless of whether we have a complete application or not, the board, or, via on somebody, need to, let, the road commissioner, the fire chief, and the superintendent of schools, know about this subdivision. But I think, other than that notice for now, I think our agenda for tonight is to determine with all the sum total of the information that we've been provided, including the revised site plan, or survey plan. Do we have a complete preliminary, subdivision application? And, unfortunately, we don't have a checklist. So I think the only thing we can do is go item by item through the subdivision ordinances, my own thought.
Let me ask you a question, George, if he's gonna go back and make sure the lots have 200 foot of true shore frontage. Although, then what, the point is, if he has to do that, not having a map that shows that, would that kick it out of being complete application, or would it be a condition that they come back to us with the revised map?
I think that's at our discretion. My suggestion would be recognizing that we're gonna get another amended survey. I would go through everything else that we've been provided tonight. Is my suggestion, and see what, if anything, is missing.
Okay.
And that way. Tyler and Vern have a full sort of, checklist, or, whatever you wanna call it, of sort of, yeah.
Thank you, Brandon. So, I will actually, Jill, would you, lead us to that, set of, items that we're gonna go through?
Sure,
This were more, in tune with that, with this process subdivision that I ever have. It's actually my first, rodeo on it. So I will kindly ask you to go for it.
okay, so the blind's gonna lead the blind. I mean, all that we can do is, given that we don't have a checklist like we do for some of the other ordinances. Is go through, the mandatory submission for a major subdivision preliminary plan. If you recall, at the last, first meeting, we decided that this was in fact a major subdivision because it's 6 lots. And just go item by item. And I can do that.
Appreciate it.
So, I don't, one of the things I've noticed is the page numbers on mine is a little different
Yeah.
than what's online. And also different than the table of contents by one page. That's not a big deal, but, so. The page I'm starting on is page 29. And I'll be curious to see if yours is page 29 as well.
I do for today.
Maybe for its initial from the subdivision code, we're all in there.
Yeah, that's it. Okay,
I don't have them.
you don't have an ordinance?
No.
Or George copy?
Huh? I don't have it.
Well, I'll read along.
Right.
Rich, do you have a copy?
I do.
Okay. So mandatory submissions, so there's two major sections, there's one mandatory submissions, and then there's additional submissions for major subdivision preliminary plan that may be required, so those are sort of at our discretion, and we do have a waiver request for if not all of these, many of them. And so we'll need to go through that as well. So first, item is an application form. We have that, we have had that from the beginning. Second item is a location map, we have that. Oh, I should go back one item. Fonzie, has the fees been paid?
No, I went to pay that today, there was a question on escrow balance on whether that's required in all instances, so I have that check today to go, I just didn't know if that escrow, the additional 1,500. Cut and dry, yes, absolutely, or is that different where we have the infrastructure in place and there aren't gonna be outside consultants?
Look at me, Craig.
You put it in there.
I know how to ask questions, I don't know how to give answers, How about we get back to you on that?
Okay.
We'll circle around with that, right? So,
I'm prepared either way, but that's one. That we're 100% sure on.
okay. All right, back to, so application form, check, we got that, location map, check, we got that with all the items included, including with the amendment, we got the boundaries of the zoning district. We have, name of the subdivision, we have, D, which is verification of title right interest. That's item C on page 30, a standard boundary survey, giving complete descriptive data by varying the distances made certified by a professional land surveyor. Corners of the tract shall be located on the ground and marked by monument. That obviously is going to be amended somewhat. So we'll put that on the list of not quite complete or to be amended. Shoreline boundaries to be amended. Just or potentially. Copy of the covenants and deed restrictions intended to cover all or part of the lots or dwellings in the subdivision.
It was on the application, the last line where it was yeah. That was food and over 12 planes. And livestock.
So I guess at the final approval stage, we'll need that in actual conveyance language.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that won't be included until there's a transfer deed, but I can get it
Yeah,
highlighted.
that'd be good.
Yep.
So, okay, so we got that. Contour lines, we have that. The number of acres, within the proposed subdivision, is that in the application?
7.82,
Okay, so we have that. Indication of type of sewage disposal, we have that in the application, it's individual subsurface wastewater systems. we have the test pit analyses that were prepared by the licensed site evaluator? I didn't see any.
I don't get those.
Okay, so that's it. Those soil test. Pit evaluations. Indication of type of water supply, we have that in the application, it's gonna be private wells. Date, the plan was prepared, North Point graphic, map scale, we have that. You know, on the survey, the names and addresses of the record, owner, applicant, individual, we have that. Zoning district in which the proposed subdivision is located, and the location of any zoning boundaries, we have that. That was in the drawing that was provided to me. Stop me if you disagree with me, of course. The location and size of existing and proposed sewers, unapplicable, water mains, unapplicable, culverts. And drainage ways on the property to be subdivided.
And we already in place.
Yeah, the only culvert, is there just that one culvert?
Yes.
By that drainage way, I guess it is, I don't think it was qualified as this thing. Okay. Actually, that's shown on the drawing, isn't it? Okay, so we have that. The width, location of any streets or public improvements. We have that on the survey drawing. Proposed lot lines with approximate dimensions, we have that, but that'll be amended, that'll be part and parcel of the amended survey plan. All parcels of be dedicated public use, that's not applicable. The location of any open space to be preserved, that's not applicable because there's less than 10 acres. I have that correct, don't I? A soil erosion and sedimentation control plan. Is that one of your waivers?
Yeah, the roads are already built. Drainage is in place, infrastructure was established. So I'll have that for each individual lot prior to the development, of course.
Well, you'll need it later on, right?
So does the board agree that soil erosion control plan is not needed because the road's already built? Let me take one step backwards. It isn't required at this stage in the subdivision review process, but at the final stage, you'll be needing to submit contours of the road and whether or not it meets the road, the street design standards. And since that's basically a single lane, the minimum right of way is 30 feet. The width of the road depends on the amount of traffic, which is not going to be much. But the other thing it depends on is what if the fire department feels they can get emergency equipment down there.
Right,
And so, and the only reason I'm bringing it up is if the road should have to be widened, let's say, another half lane or whatever it might happen to be, if at all, I mean, I don't know quickly. At that point, I think you need to fill those plan, at least that would be my personal opinion, same with the storm road plan.
If it came to that.
Yeah, if it came to that. So, how does the board want to handle this? Do you want to handle this as it not being applicable at the moment? Because the road's already in place and deal with it, we'll have to remember to deal with it later.
could we make,
Condition of approval.
yeah, that.
Yeah.
On that.
So according to the ordinance, what we're gonna be voting on, the only thing we're gonna be voting on at the preliminary stage is whether or not we got a complete application.
Okay.
And, so the time that we would be adding, conditions, if any, would be when, at the next stage, when go to final plan approval. So, we will just have to set it aside as. And remember that a soil erosion control plan, maybe a stormwater control plan, and a phosphorus control plan might be needed. In the event there's, additional soil disturbance and as a result of road construction, but not right now. So, everybody agreeable to that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, one of the things I noticed when I was there, and probably others saw, because we were at your site visit, yeah. The sides of the road, the ditching and everything's very, very stable. It either vegetated or it has, ground wood, as stabilization. There's no soil erosion going on there now. Okay. Yeah, so I think the same thing could be said for, plan for the disposal of surface drainage waters, i.e. a stormwater management plan, and, Tyler that's one of his, waiver requests that the ordinance provides for him to be able to request, and it's all in our packet here. Proposed subdivision will not involve road construction, and any widening and grading will not change drainage patterns. The road sites within the ditches are all well stabilized against erosion by vegetation and or mulch wood. I think this is like the soil erosion control plan that we probably should revisit it if the road needs to be reconstructed or widened or something of that nature. When we hear back later in the process. Copy of that portion of the county soil survey covering the subdivision. We have that. Probably you.
I know, I actually soil data from the site.
Okay, so
Look at county soils.
yeah, that's a matter of going online and bringing soil conservation service.
Is this what you're talking about? It's soil.
No, usually they have, there's designations of the different soil type,
So those are all the checkers, the hydraulic.
Yeah, no, they're more specific than that, it's the soil conservation services medium intensity soil mapping, so they'll. They're classified not only by soil types, but permeability, slope, it's readily available online.
So that won't suffice what you just pulled up? We just check the box whenever what he pulled up, or
I'm sorry, Tyler.
with what he had on the screen there, does that check the box?
No, sorry.
We tried. Oh, no, it doesn't work.
Yeah, sorry, that's not what it's referring to. Yeah, it specifically says medium intensity soil survey maps, boundaries of flood hazard area, we have that. And we also have documentation of the elevation that was submitted, the flood insurance study, Federal Emergency Management Agency in 2011. The sorry, this is taking me a bit to areas within or adjacent to the proposed subdivision which have been identified by the Maine Department of Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry's Natural Areas Program, or the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, beginning with habitat mapping, or within the comprehensive plan. The applicant shall request each agency to review their preliminary plan and submit written review comments to the planning board with any recommended resource mitigation measures. If any portion of the subdivision is located within an area designated as a unique natural area by the comprehensive plan or the Maine Natural Areas Program, or significant wildlife habitat by the Maine Department of Inland Fish and Wildlife, based on beginning with habitat mapping, the plan shall indicate appropriate measures for the preservation of the values which qualify the site for such designation. I haven't seen that we have that mapping submitted. I do know from looking at it myself that there's nothing there, either natural areas or, but I'm not the applicant.
Not applicable.
Not
Applicable.
Well, the problem is you need to submit something for us to determine that, okay? So again, you just go to Inland Fish and Wildlife website, beginning with habitat, because the burden of proof is always on you, Tyler. As much as you don't like it that way. So beginning with habitat map. I mean, I looked at it because I was trying to prepare for the site visit.
Yeah, I have too, and I know where the deer wintering wildlife refuges are in town, and it's not in there, so I will print that blank out.
Thank you. And you know, based on that, I don't see where it's applicable to require going to Inland Fish and Wildlife themselves.
Yeah.
All areas within or adjacent to the proposed subdivision which are either listed or eligible to be listed on the National Register of Historic Places or have been identified by the comprehensive plan or the Maine Historic Preservation Commission as sensitive. That's not applicable. A phosphorus control plan shall be submitted which will limit phosphorus runoff after development in accordance with the phosphorus control standards in Article 16. I believe this is like soil erosion and stormwater that at this stage, since the road's already constructed, there's no other soil disturbance being proposed. We'll just kind of defer on that until the final review stage. Everybody's in agreement with that. Okay, that brings us to the additional submissions for major subdivision preliminary plan that may be required. And as I noted before, Tyler submitted a waiver request for Belleville Stream subdivision. We are requesting waivers under section 4, additional submissions for major subdivisions. Number 1 was the stormwater management plan, and we've already discussed that. Second was a high intensity soil survey, which and I'll just read it. A high intensity soil survey by a registered soil scientist is something we can require. I personally don't see the need myself, particularly since the wetlands have already been mapped. Be the principal concern of mine anyway. So that's an item, and we need to vote on these, by the way. And I'll just go through them first. So contour lines at intervals specified by the planning board. I can't remember what the contours are on the drawings that have already been submitted, but
They're 10 foot, right?
They are.
yeah. I mean. Nothing more detailed than that's gonna be very useful.
Very flat.
Yeah, besides the fact that it's flat, so anyway, that's another item that a waiver request has been made. Third is the hydrogeologic assessment, and that's, you may recall, or just as a refresher, we have the option of requiring that in cases where we think the site, we believe the site is close to, it is on a matte sand and gravel aquifer. That's not the case here. Subdivision has an average density of more than 1 dwelling unit per 100,000 square feet. Or there's a reasonable presumption of no potable water sources on the property as a result of contamination, including petroleum, hazardous substances, salt, or any other potential contaminate. And that's based on going to main DEP's environmental geographic analysis database, and it's satellite imagery of contamination sites, and there are none in that part of town. There are on the other side of the stream, the septic system, the septic land spreading site, but off the Penny Road, but not on that side.
You just happen to know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've looked at those maps before when we were discussing PFAS monitoring and multifamily dwellings, because some of the monitored wells and drinking water supply wells in the vicinity of the septic have low levels of PFAS in them.
Oh.
Which is should not be a surprise to anybody that knows anything about that subject. But the other place would be the town landfill, the abandoned town landfill. But another example would be, just to flesh that out a little bit. Say somebody, not that there's room for this, but say somebody wanted to put a subdivision in downgrade somewhere between here and Christie's. Well, given the number of petroleum spills Christie's has had over the many decades, we would need to probably want an assessment to make sure that the groundwater is not contaminated.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
That kind of thing. Um. So, again, this doesn't seem to really apply, but if
No.
a waiver has been requested of it as a consequence. Another item is estimate of the amount and type of vehicle traffic to be generated on a daily basis and at peak hours. Trip generation rates used shall be taken from the most recent available edition of the trip generation manual published by the Institute of Transportation Engineers. And a waiver's been requested of that against that, and there's just read what Tyler submitted, an estimate of the amount of type vehicular traffic, minimal traffic for 6 residential SFRs and over an existing road, future dwellings will likely remain seasonal. The last item is traffic impact analysis, and this is for subdivisions involving 28 or more parking spaces or projected to generate more than 100 vehicle trips per day. 6 lots, maybe 2 cars per lot. That's a lot of driving. So just to recap, we need to vote on these variance requests. I think that's the next order of business, and then I'll go over the list of what yet needs to be submitted. And if I'm got anything wrong, you'll tell me.
Yeah.
So the first item is the stormwater management plan. The second item is the high intensity soil survey. Third item is the hydrogeologic assessment. The fourth item is estimated amount and type of vehicle traffic. And 5 is the traffic impact analysis. We've already discussed the stormwater management plan along with the phosphorus control plan and soil erosion plan that we'll revisit those at the final subdivision approval stage based on if any additional construction of the road is needed. Providing a waiver at this stage would be okay, I would think. The highest, my personal opinion is that a high intensity soil survey doesn't add any value at this stage, given that we already have mapping of the wetlands by a soil scientist. The hydrogeologic assessment, I don't think is needed because it doesn't meet the criteria of when to require it. The traffic impact analysis clearly doesn't, there just isn't going to be enough traffic based on what the criteria are in the ordinance. The estimate of vehicle traffic, not that I think it's going to be great, but you'll see if you look at the tables in the ordinance that specify road widths and construction standards. It's based on classifications of vehicle traffic. Low, medium, high.
Low as it gets.
Yeah, so I think I didn't look at that in great detail, probably to be quite honest, so I can't tell you what might happen at that stage, but I would think that we could waive it at this stage and revisit it if need be, at the final review process stage. Because it's that stage, and it's sort of like the question you had earlier, Pete, about, conditions of approval, when do we think about that, discuss that? Well, the same is true, it's, for whatever reason, the ordinance requires those, the specifics of the road construction at the final stage rather than at the preliminary stage, so it seems to me we can. My thought is that we could, my personal thought is that we could waive these if everybody agrees and, at this stage and if necessary, pick up what of, you know, the stormwater management plan or whatever else needs picking up when we know more about the road.
Most of these apply to all of this infrastructure need to be built after approval. You know, there's people using this road and the adjacent property, so. It seems like we could simplify the whole thing, my perspective. And not treat this like it's, you know, the 80 acres on the Welsh Shore that's completely undeveloped, that would require a 2 mile road and everything that would entail, you know.
So you need a motion?
Yeah, I need a motion on whether to approve a waiver for these 5 items,
So I move a motion to approve a waiver for the 5 items discussed.
I make a motion that we approve the 5 items that George just discussed in the past
So that's,
10 minutes.
you do the motion, I will second it. We get a motion and a second.
did you get finished where you wanted?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So motion by Peter Sargent, second by Sarah Langat.
Mhm.
All those in favor, Rich,
Yes.
Pete?
Yeah.
Sarah,
Yes.
Grace, and George also votes yes. So let the record show that we approved this. What's today's date? The fourth.
All along.
Yeah, we put them. Get that down then. So that can go in file. Let's see, so before we can vote on whether or not we have a complete preliminary subdivision plan. The items I have on outstanding. And admittedly, some of these can be addressed fairly quickly. The first is the fees, the second is the survey, and we'll go, I think we need to review the fees right after this, so that we can tell read what the expectation is. To be honest with you, I haven't looked at it myself. Anyway, back, the list consists of fees, the survey plan, with the shoreline boundaries amended. The soil test pit evaluations. For the proposed septic systems. A copy of the medium intensity soils map from the US soil from the US Department of Agriculture Soil Conservation Service. And beginning with habitat map for the subdivision from Maine, you know, Fish and Wildlife. I miss anything? Got that list, Carl?
I do, yeah, and yeah. So can that be submitted in the interim and move forward to scheduling the final plan review? Where none of these are gonna change?
What's the board think? What we need to do, my understanding of the ordinance is what we need to do once we get this information, is we need to vote on having a complete application. We need to, at that stage. Then once we've taken that vote, then we need to provide. Notices to all the landowners within 500 feet. And we need to notify you that it's complete.
But that's after it's complete, we notify the bodies and then we have to have a hearing Oh, yeah, we-
Yeah, and then, and we also need, not only do we need to approve that it's complete, but we need to approve the preliminary plan. Um. At our next meeting,
None of these are gonna change the eligibility of it, I was,
The preliminary plan, though, you gotta verify the points,
correct.
so.
one thing that we could, one thing that we could do to. Facilitate the process on, and unfortunately, this would kind of fall on your shoulders, is. Whenever. Process laid out in the ordinance, it's very linear, it's kind of skipping ahead, but depending on how the board feels, but. Rather than just at this stage, we're supposed to. Just let the superintendent of schools. The fire chief and the road commissioner know we got this. What we could do is we could submit to them. The application. That we have. The application materials that we have, or at least the application. The the written application. Now, and that way. Rather than waiting until we've determined whether the whole package is complete. Because that's a prerequisite before we can move on to the final. Reviewing the final application.
So you were saying, doing that parallel to waiting for the little items I have to check off,
Yeah,
but then we meet at the same point.
right. Better way to put it. so.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Makes sense.
We need a.
There are a few, just so you know, and there are a few items that are required in the final stage that, we haven't discussed yet. But
I submit.
I think would be difficult or confusing to try to do. Have a vote on completeness, approving the preliminary. Application, I mean, and then moving immediately on to the final, all at the same meeting, But, in one sense, it's kind of your call rather than ours.
If I can submit that to you independently outside of a meeting, this request information and confirm linear short frontage. I don't wanna take up your time or anyone else's in another meeting to just check these boxes, we know what's.
Yeah, yeah, so if, my sense is if Tyler wants to do that, there's nothing to prevent him from doing that. If we,
Email, I can go to Hans, you can make sure that.
I mean, obviously, the risk is that. Maybe we. I don't see it happening, but an issue comes up that, so we don't approve the preliminary plan. That would obviously. Delay moving on to the final plan, but I personally don't really see that happening. So, but, I don't know, how do others feel about that? But I'm probably not explaining it very well.
You agree with it?
I don't quite understand what you're saying.
So basically, if he submits everything through email that we're asking for. When we come back to the next meeting, we can vote that the preliminary plan is complete. And then we can move right on to the final. So we'll have to take a vote saying that's complete. Correct me.
And we also have to take a vote approving the preliminary plan.
And approve the plan. And then we can move on right in the same meeting.
Okay.
What he said,
Very clearly.
said it more clearly than I did.
That, all that will go parallel with sending all these notices to the
Yeah,
And
yeah.
schools.
And if Hans would be willing to send the application form to the superintendent of schools. This road commissioner and the fire chief.
I got a quick question, why is the school, where's the school go?
Oh, it has to do with, you know, what impact, well, school buses and, just capacity. At the school for, say, kids moved into these homeless things. That doesn't happen very often in Belgrade, but
How do you feel about doing that?
I send letters every day.
Okay,
thank you.
We have,
Oh, the fee, I knew there was something else.
So we're.
I'll get there, Kyle. So
I was looking for that word.
page 27. An applicant fee, an application for a major subdivision preliminary plan shall be accompanied by a non-refundable application fee of $300 plus $50 per lot. Payable to the municipality. In addition, the applicant shall pay an escrow fee of $250 per lot or dwelling unit be deposited in a special escrow account designated for that subdivision applications. Be used by the board for hiring independent consulting services to review engineering and other technical submissions.
so 350 for each lot. And 250 for the escrow. That's it?
Any balance in the escrow account remaining after a decision on the final plan application by the board shall be returned to the applicant.
You guys determined that you do not need to hire independent consulting services.
Yeah, that would be my first question, whether we think we need to hire a civil or environmental engineer or any other kind of soil scientist or anything. I personally don't see why, not, this is at this, there may be expertise that we need when we do the rezoning and shoreline, I mean, that can get in fish and wildlife, but at this stage, this is pretty straightforward stuff. And I don't see the need for putting money in an escrow account to allow us. And, just remember that this could have been, this could be a large shopping center that would have triggered the subdivision ordinance, in which case, there'd be all kinds of issues that we might need our own in-house expertise on, but that's not the case here. Well, that's my personal opinion.
everything's in shoreline zoning, it's already, know if we visited it, the only obstacle is upon the applicants to figure out whether or not it's,
Resource protection.
yeah.
So we don't do the escrow,
I would say we have a motion and vote on that.
okay?
So if I could have a motion on that question.
I'll make a motion that we not require an escrow. For this project.
I second.
And before we move on, Hans, I want to ask you if you have anything reservation about us doing this.
No, I mean, the infrastructure's in place, so, like you said, the studies aren't required.
Okay.
And they,
Double check.
the shoreline zone, that's not on. So,
So all those in favor, Rich?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, great. George, yes, 5, yes, no zeros. No, no's, 0 no's. So,
So if he's gonna be $600.
that help?
Yes.
Okay. Any other Any questions for us, Tyler, or?
Are we in agreement that I can submit the updated plan, the studies directly to you guys through email?
Yeah, I mean, we just need them by next meeting,
This
or I assume that's when we'll take this up next month. You ready?
thank you.
And then at that meeting, we'll go to, as we've already said, you know, we'll vote on that complete preliminary application, vote on approving the preliminary application, then we'll move on to the final, or make it all progress as we can.
I'll leave it before Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Big one, things.
well, so can we take a 5 minute break?
Any question, who are K and E L?
Can we ask Zoom, people that are joining, who's K and who's E now? You need to get on mute. We don't hear you. We need your name for the roster, for the attendance list. And you mute them?
Yeah. Really quiet. No, I haven't. You want much about it? Oh, Jesus.
And K, unmute themselves and tell us who they are in the Zoom screen. You know what you can do, you can knock them off. And they're gonna have to wait to join. Can you put something in the chat for them, like, who are,
Actually, that's Kirsten, Gordon. She's with JLG Properties.
oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you sign her up here?
Sure.
And E L is the, would you say properties?
JLG.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know who EL is? No?
No.
Thank you.
Sure.
It's a. Thank you. My ordinance isn't the same as yours.
Cynthia, I don't have to get it. Copy of that?
I think I thought I
I don't have
had.
the electronic one.
Oh, this was March 4, 1988. Way out of date.
No,
No,
what does it say, enacted by referendum on what day?
oh,
Yeah.
March 19, 2010.
No, I think that's 2022.
That's what yours says to me.
Yeah.
There was top on
March 19. Mine doesn't look like that, and when he said there was page numbers, they know.
All right, well, Mary, get you in.
So this is what's the latest?
Well, Martin, 2022.
Oh, yeah, mine says 2010.
Later.
All right,
It's
so
very,
Mary,
already had that thought. I think we agree with it.
provide new copies.
That was movie 5.
I message you.
So we're going to get one?
You want to put this on Mary's desk, I need the updated.
All right, thank you. That's close over there, and that's close over there, you have to go through here.
That's locked, too. No, it's locked.
All right,
Nobody's there. It's locked.
it's all locked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just leave it on Mary's, right?
we can put it in front of it, the windows.
She
is
won't.
closed.
Oh. Can you, will you ask you, Mary?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. So let's call the meeting again to order, and we're gonna proceed with the second item on the agenda tonight. And that's for applicant Arul Hong. And location is 538 Augusta Road. Map 9, lot 48. And this purpose is a commercial development review ordinance. Change of use to include events with visitors. Right, we went over this last time.
Multiple times.
Third time.
And I,
So we have a complete application.
mhm.
Notices have been sent out by Hans. So today is time to if anybody from the public is showing up and for us to make a final decision.
Mhm. So, we open the public hearing, so to speak now, anyway.
And or the board has any questions,
Mhm.
lingering questions.
So open hearing is now. Somebody's, on Zoom for this, or anybody from the, audience wanna speak, or anybody from the board? No one?
I don't have any. No, that's been there.
That's my most perfect certainly.
The, yeah, that's the curriculum, you know, we'll be moving on to, findings of fact and law, and I think there's three areas that I would suggest, considering, conditions of approval, fill in some of the gaps. We talked about one last time that regarding noise monitoring and mitigation if necessary. And I actually have some draft conditions here, that I'll share in a moment, but, I took my thought and added Craig's about having some kind of termination to noise monitoring if it shows that noise levels are in compliance with the ordinance standards of 60 decibels during most hours. And unless you've since received the restaurant license, I thought.
No, they have to come in.
Yeah,
Back
okay,
down to
so-
commercial kitchen, but we have to get we need to know from you first.
Oh,
before they're
okay,
even
so we're,
interested in-
okay,
Yeah, you know,
okay,
Under
all right, so, yeah, so we could deal with that through a condition of approval.
yeah, we can give you all that when we
When you get it,
get it.
Right,
from the
right.
state.
and then. I looked at the parking again. And, so we have, so the facility is intended for a maximum of 75 people. The events, 75 people. A lot of times it won't be 75 people, hopefully there's 75 people, but sometimes it might not be, so. Under the ordinance standards, if you go through the math, for 75 people. Talks about, it goes to up to 35 parking spaces. We have 20, I believe, or 20 more, like 25 or something.
And then overflow in near the house.
Yeah, so. Where I was going with all this is simply to have a condition of approval that says no parking along Route 27.
Yeah, and we can't, we just had a really large yard sale, so we were able to see how the parking went, and we made it very clear that there would be no parking on that. It's illegal.
So that was,
I think it had happened in the past because the woman to the right came and said, I just don't want people parking. With the previous owner, I don't want people parking in front of my house, and I said, we're not gonna let anybody park
Yeah.
on 27.
well, and there's always the risk that the state police would become
Right.
sheriff, you know.
But that will be, if we have an event, there will be somebody doing the parking and nobody will. Yeah, there won't be anybody around on 27.
So I just wanted to put that out there as we go through the finding of fact and law, and would it be appropriate for me to hand these out now so you can look at them?
Yeah.
And I have copies for you if you want.
Thank you. You do your own copy now?
And just so that, to explain myself a little further, we need to make these legal findings of fact and law, and in my personal opinion, this allows us to make all of them positive,
Okay,
okay, and that's my intent.
okay, thank you. Alright. Thank you. So you want to. Let me see. Oh, yeah.
Obviously, if changes need to be made. But
Well, that's how they feel about.
so Sarah was just asking me, how does this mesh with you folks?
Yeah, this seems fine, like we said, we bought the decibel monitor, so that we
Right.
can keep track of. We'll give you a copy of the approved state of Maine restaurant operating license. And then when we do events, we can just put signs out on that the real part.
Yeah, so the thought was, after we've had. And a good number of, events that use sound amplification or a live concert or whatever it might happen to be. Not. Say you have a farm to table
Yeah,
meal where, that's not applicable, but. Music events or whatever, take the measurements. Record them, and then when you've got 10 of them, so that we have enough sort of. Data, if you will, to make an assessment, you can come back and request it to have that condition dropped.
okay, alright, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Well, what he said, kind of
And when. So,
Unless the board has any questions or anybody from the public, then I think we're ready to move on to the findings of fact and law.
This, your handout, we asked the public, anyone out there on Zoom, maybe, again,
If no.
again, the person in accordance with the next applicant, is that?
I'm not sure that's
Yeah,
a live person.
That's what,
yeah, the person in Zoom is with the next applicant. The following applicant. So, nobody else
Oh, okay.
is with this application, so I think we can go to the finding of facts and go control that. You have the, I thought you had the,
Me? No, I don't have it.
and I'm just going with it.
Oh, it stays.
I'll let you finish it, we started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try. All right. So, this is a legal requirement, required by the ordinance, and law courts and all that kind of stuff. And the findings of fact, conclusions of law under the town of Belgrade Commercial Development Review Ordinance for Water Dance Farm. And, I'll skip all the boilerplate stuff. And project summary is to allow events with food service. So it's a change in use essentially. Was a waiver request submitted. And I believe the answer to that is no. Application review process date. Application submitted as complete, that was our last meeting, what was the date of that,
8/21.
8/21, thank you, Hans. Was a site visit conducted? No. Board meetings, 8/21.
8, 7, and 9.
Cool.
I mean,
9/4/25. Thank you.
right.
Okay, review criteria findings. The board finds the application for the subject project is complete and the full application fee has been paid. The applicant has requested in writing the board waive the following ordinance requirements, that's not applicable. Applicant has provided supporting documentation to demonstrate to the board's fraction as the. That's regarding the waiver, there is none, so waiver request, so that is not applicable. So the first is, the board finds that the project will not or will cause unreasonable soil erosion.
Will not.
well,
Vermont,
Well, no.
I also will not. And let's see here. So reason for my delay is, it talks about based on soil erosion control plan, which, given that there is a change of use to not applicable.
Mhm.
Everybody with that?
Yeah.
So for the rationale. when You would, for the standard operating procedure, and say based on application submittals and public record. And. Short that BASPR. Okay, now we're ready to rock and roll. Board finds project. Will not have adverse impact on freshwater wetlands.
Hold on.
Well, not.
Will not.
I also vote will not. Based on application submittals, public record. Board finds the project. Will not or will have an adverse impact on lake pond. Or stream.
Will not.
Well, not.
Will not.
Well,
I also votes will not. So that's 5. Yes, 0, no. Is. Board finds that the project will not. Or will provide for adequate stormwater management.
Will.
Well,
It will.
well,
I also vote will, that's 5 yes, 0. No. It's. Taxation still public records. The board finds that the project will not or will provide adequate sewage disposal.
Will.
well,
It will.
well,
I also vote will. 5 yes. Board finds that the project is not or is located in a floodplain.
It's not.
it's not.
Is not.
no,
I also vote is not. Yes. No. Board finds that the project will not or will result in air or water pollution.
Will not.
Well, not.
Will not.
no,
I also vote, George votes will not. That's 5. Yes. 0 no. Board finds that the project will not or will have sufficient drinking water for current and foreseeable needs.
Will.
Well,
It will.
well,
I also, George votes will. That's 5 yes. 0. Board finds that the project along or in conjunction with existing activities will not or will adversely impact the quality and quantity of groundwater.
well, not.
Will not.
well,
I also vote will not. That's 5 yes. 0 no's. Again, BASPR as justification. Board finds that the proposed activity will dispose of all solid waste in conformance with all local regulations and that the type and quantity of waste proposed and sent to the town transfer facility will not or will exceed its capacity.
Will not.
Well, no.
Will not.
I would also vote will not. 5 yes, 0 no's. The board finds that the project will not or will have significant detrimental effect on adjacent land uses and properties affected by waste, noise, glare, lighting, fumes, smoke, dust, odors, or their effects from the project. And this would be with the noise monitoring condition of approval.
I vote it will not, provided that the noise monitoring mitigation requirements. Be adhered to as part of the pollution.
Will not.
You know, well, where he's at, I agree.
There will not.
Will not, okay. I also, George votes will not with the condition of approval. So that's 5 yes, 0 no's. Board finds that the project will not or will cause unreasonable highway or public road congestion.
Will not.
Will not.
Will not.
George also votes will not. 5 yes, 0 no. Again, BASPR based on application submittal of public record. Board finds that the project to the maximum extent possible will not or will have an adverse effect on scenic or natural beauty of the area, aesthetics, historic, archaeological sites.
Will not.
Will not.
Will not.
I also, George, will not, so that's 5 yes, 0 no, based on application submitted to public record. Board finds that the project to the maximum extent possible will not or will have an adverse effect on significant wildlife habitat, critical natural areas.
Will not.
Will not.
Will not.
George also votes will not. It's kind of weird talking in that person, but anyway. So that's 5 yes, 0 no. Board finds that the project does not conform or conforms with all other applicable town of Belgrade ordinances, including but not limited to shoreline zoning, minimum lot size, multifamily, adult businesses.
Does.
Doesn't
Does comply, right?
Conforms.
Conforms.
Conform.
Conforms,
Conform.
Yeah.
conforms.
It does conform.
Okay, I also vote conforms. That's 5 yes, 0 no. Board finds that the project will not or will unreasonably increase the concentration of phosphorus in a Great Pond.
Will not.
Will not.
It will not.
Well, no.
I also vote will not. 5 yes, 0 no's. Same justification as before. The board finds the project will not or will conform to material storage provisions of the ordinance.
Will.
Well.
It will.
Well,
And George votes will as well. That's 5 yes, 0, no. Board finds that the applicant has or does not have sufficient right, title, or interest to undertake the development.
Has.
And,
It has.
I also vote has, it's 5. Yes. 0, no. Board finds the applicant does or does not provide for safe and adequate parking. And there'll be a condition that is somewhat.
Does. With the condition that, no parking is allowed on Route 27.
it does with no parking along.
Does with the same condition, no parking allowed along Route 27.
Does.
And I also vote, does, provide for safe and adequate parking, with the provision of a, project specific condition of approval for 27, permitting 27 parking. So. So that's 5, yes. 0, no. Board finds that the project will not or will conform to all applicable provisions of the ordinance, including but not limited to the development standards for specific activities.
Well.
It will.
Well.
George also votes will. 5, yes. 0, no's. Therefore, the town of Belgrade approves, subject to the following conditions, the application. So I'm putting all 3 of your names on this. We'll vote on this in a moment, but there are 2 types of conditions of approval that we place on these. The first are standard conditions that are apply to everybody, and I'll just read those for your benefit. You'll get this, so you'll have these as part of your business records and for future reference. The first is if construction has not been substantially started within 36 months of board approval, disapproval, and subsequent permit from the Belgrade Code Enforcement Officer are null and void. Second is the board approval of this project is, as described above, is limited to that described in the application and depicted in the accompanying plan and other application submissions. Except to the extent the board has expressly indicated in this document that certain depictions may be revised by the applicant without further review and approval by the board. Any changes to the application site plan and other supporting application submissions must receive prior approval by the board, including but not limited to changes in the proposed Location of structures, roads, parking, vehicle entrance and exit, wells, subsurface wastewater disposal, method of waste disposal. Extent, location of vegetated areas, material storage, outdoor lighting and signage and methods of stormwater, phosphorus, runoff control. Basically, what you apply for is what you're getting approved for, nothing more, nothing less. Unless a waiver from a specific ordinance standard has been requested by the applicant in writing and approved by the board. The development or use is required to meet all applicable ordinance standards, and lastly, this board approval and its associated permit from the code enforcement officer is transferable to subsequent owners of the property. All subsequent owners are required to comply with conditions of the board approval. Then we have the project specific conditions of approval. And give me a moment. Right, paper. Well,
You're still gonna deal with number two, correct?
yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, so again, the first one would be during events. Which include live music or the use of electronic sound amplification, noise levels shall be monitored at the closest property line. Using an appropriate decibel monitoring device to determine compliance with the noise standards found in Article 6, Section 7 of the ordinance. The written log shall be maintained. Did you get a copy of this one, Hans? Oh, I'm sorry. Realize I was handing around and maybe you were, anyway, written log shall be maintained by the facility containing at a minimum the date and type of each event, whether indoor or outdoor, and the associated property line decibel measurements. This log shall be made available for inspection to the Belgrade Code Enforcement Officer upon request. When ordinance noise levels are exceeded, mitigation measures shall be proposed to the code enforcement officer for their review and approval and to bring the facility to compliance with the ordinance's noise standards. At a minimum, the above requirements shall be in effect for the first 10 applicable events. If monitoring results demonstrate an ability to routinely comply with the ordinance's noise standards, facility may apply in writing to the planning board to have the requirements of this condition terminated as no longer necessary. The second is, has to do with the restaurant license, and that has to do with the finding that, relates back to the finding that, you're complying with all local ordinances and state laws. And it reads, prior to offering meals to the public or event attendees, provide a copy of an approved state of Maine restaurant operating license to the code enforcement officer. So that doesn't come to us, you don't need to prove it, just need it for the records. And lastly, regarding the parking issue, no parking is allowed along 27. Any final comments about the illnesses? Hans, do you have anything? Okay, so. Lastly, we need to take a vote on the entire findings of fact and law and final approval of the application and its various adjoining parts. So I'll entertain a motion.
So I move a motion to deem complete the application,
To approve the application.
to approve the application.
With the conditions that
Yeah.
we have.
With the condition set for the approval. So,
I'll second
thank you.
All those in favor, Rich?
it. Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. George also votes yes, 5-0.
You can sign.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
And. The way. For still the specific conditions, I've been. Same conditions, but I put it into a formal form. With a signature for the planning board chair, definitely in the date, which I guess I'll also.
Yeah.
And I'll make a note on the master's, form here to, see attached. Okay, that's it. Any questions?
No.
Don't look so surprised.
Thank you. We hope to see you all at an event.
You never know.
Maybe your
My wife and I just came from a-
birthday party you can have there.
Yeah. I went to a family table dinner out at Norland's Farm in Livermore.
Well, thank you, Hans, everyone, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not yet. We have to stay there first. We do have a part today, but somebody else is bringing this food. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
All right, so we're gonna go back to the agenda here and we are going to the third applicant of the night. And it's, Lily, subdivision. Dingy Cooley and Adam Ellis. And location is, Booker Road. Map 17. Lot 17G. And the purpose of the subdivision preliminary. So with that, I'll give the floor to the applicant.
So first of all, we submitted everything on July 18th, and this is the first meeting we've been in. So it's a little disappointing. We're trying to get going on this, and there have been 3 meetings before this, and we hadn't been put on the agenda yet. We were supposed to be on it last week and never got put on it. The problem is, Charlene here has lot 2 on this map, and they've already started construction on her lot. And there's a hold on it now because we're waiting for approval. You'll see that there's 4 lots on here. We don't need to do all 4 of those. Lot 4 is going to their granddaughter. That's a family member. It hasn't been conveyed yet. So we'd like to just keep this as a minor subdivision. Lot number 1 was conveyed to their daughter, but that lot consists of 2 lots. There was another lot there, but that got conveyed to Jen also. So now that lot 1 is all just 1 lot and it's their daughter. Lot number 3 is a family friend, same with lot 2. So we've got those 2 lots, and I think that's all we really need to put in this subdivision, if everyone agrees with that.
So 4 and 1 are gonna be family members?
Yes. Yeah, 1 has already been conveyed to her. And 1, it used to be a smaller lot, but then another piece was, you can see the pin on the road. That's where there was another lot there that was conveyed to someone else, but it's since been conveyed back to Jennifer, so now it's all.
The transferred and then transferred.
Right,
So those are transferred, we're counting transfers, not who owns them now.
right, but it was conveyed to an abutter. Jen already owned the property and that got conveyed to her.
So this is involved since in the application you have 4 plus the retained lot, would have been 5 lots. So it's now down to 3 lots,
I,
2
well,
ones and the retained.
right, well, the retained has always been there anyway, you know, like they've always owned the lot, it's just been broken out of it, so.
Well, I asked because it makes a difference
Mhm.
whether you even need to be here.
That's what we're trying to figure out. Because 2 lots have been conveyed to non-family members. But Vicky has lived on the property for over 25 years and still lives there.
And so originally, a year ago, we communicated with Hans and because Jennifer has lot 1 now, which is the 2 lots, and Caitlin, our granddaughter, is gonna have lot 4. The only 2 lots there are Charlene and Matt Shorty, and the rest is ours. We don't intend to subdivide or grant anybody else. She's a very close 22-year friend, and he is also a very close friend. So we have no desire for a subdivision. We're only doing it because the title search, the title company did not understand, nor did they contact any of us to understand that we had transferred to abutting owners some of the landlocked land to give them a little more space in their land. You know, we try to be good neighbors and say, hey, you've got this little small lot, we're not gonna need that back piece, why don't we, you know, sell you that back piece and then the other lot above our home lot. We did the same thing, we transferred to him, and in exchange, he gave us not the
Right
right,
of way,
well, it's not a right of way,
an
it's
easement.
an
Yeah.
easement. So our goal, honestly, our goal is just to settle down and move on. We are not selling more land. We're preserving what we have left.
The parcels or little chunks of land that you sold or gave to your neighbors, when was that done?
In 20,
That would be this one, right? Roberts and Roy.
you did, remember you were
Yeah, so that was,
2021?
what's that? Well, it looks like it was before Jen's and Jen's was
Yes.
2020, so it was 2019, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was just conveyed to, again, that was a piece that was conveyed to an abutter, someone that already owned that property.
Same thing with the other.
Yes, and then they conveyed lot number 1 to Jennifer, but lot number 1 used to be, there used to be another lot between lot 1 and lot 2. And that was conveyed to someone outside of the family, but then she conveyed it to Jennifer. So it's now just 1 lot again. It was briefly 2 lots.
Okay.
One of them-
I got confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The biggest thing is
The biggest issue, yeah.
that they're holding her back from closing with the bank and getting her financing, and that's why JLG, because they're the owners of her, Kirsten is online, they're the owners of the home that's sitting there on her lot already to be moved into. You know, we did, like I said, I communicated with Hans a year ago, June, and we had both agreed that we didn't need to get a lawyer, that this situation, we're not triggering a subdivision for. We don't want a subdivision.
Right, right. Oh, I get that.
And if, so yes, we do have 2 lots that were conveyed in the last 5 years to non-family members. However, and if we indeed need to go through subdivision, it's a little bit foggy because the landowner lives on the property and has been there for more than 25 years. And anything else that was conveyed out was either to a family member or to an abutting lot, or no other lots were conveyed out.
I mean, as you probably know, as a survey,
Yeah.
the state law's definition of subdivision is not exactly what you'd call a clear document.
No, it's not. And that's the biggest thing that we have going for us is that Vicky has lived on the property for 25 years and still retains a house there. And so basically she has her lot, which is, you can see it says stone wall right in the middle because there's stone wall there, but she owns that and everything else, and it's all connected because of their right of way. It's all one big piece now. And So I think there is an exemption where if you have been there, if it's been your primary residence for more than 5 years, in this case, it's been more than 25 years. And you're gonna retain it, that you can actually convey 2 lots out from that.
Well, and also the lots, you will, that were conveyed to the abutters done more than 5 years ago.
Right. And, like the lot number 1 is their daughter Jennifer. There was the issue that one of the other lots went to a non-family member, but then immediately got conveyed to Jennifer, who already owned that lot, so she was in a butter. She just got conveyed an abutting piece of property. Our biggest concern is Charlene's sitting there waiting to get financed on this, and if we have to go through subdivision, if we find that we need to do it, that's fine, but it would be nice if we could get some sort of recommendation from the board to her loan officer, just saying, hey, this is going, we don't see any issues, just so they can continue on with it.
Is Hans in his office?
Yeah, it's about, you went to grab something.
Correct, that's what we're trying to get.
Yes, yep, the thing that Hans and I looked at over a year ago. I thought put us in good standing, or we wouldn't be standing here right now.
Well, just want to get your take on things here.
Yes, this is
Thank you.
the email communications that basically started with a title and insurance company. Questioning. and Outlining. You got.
Yeah, they have that. Yep.
The transfers of properties which raised the red flags, brings them here today. We did talk about this a year ago, they heard me. That everything was just still abutters and family members, and the transfers were handled properly. The title company disagrees.
Well, the title company also feels that the abutting transfers are not, are triggering it also, but since they did not communicate with us at all, we didn't have an opportunity to explain to them, no, that was not the case.
That says you were meeting with them, so.
Meeting
Thomas.
with the,
Can we,
I didn't meet with the. I did get a message back from Deb, the senior loan officer, said the insurance underwriting requires subdivision approval, meaning they feel that in order to get the title insurance, we have to have a subdivision, but I'm gonna ask again, why? I'm not subdividing the property for more lots to be sold.
Why we on this? This. Go on, why are we getting, why are we getting?
Well,
function of the planning board is. This is what the function of the planning board is.
And they're asking the question, is this a subdivision under the town's ordinance based on this history of various transfers?
Mhm.
And we have an obligation to answer that question.
Right.
I,
Alright, I just trying to find what's going on here, so, and what I put in the last, I can't follow what the hell you're saying here, excuse the language. You're talking individual names, first names, and, I can't read this French law. So, I'm not gonna participate in that kind of decision.
George, to my knowledge, if I had this, a lot. I'm gonna split it into two other lots plus mine,
right, the one that you retain,
run on thing. That creates a subdivision.
that's considered 3 lots.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what I'm struggling with.
In this case, though, they're retaining 1 lot as their house lot, and it has been for more than 25 years now.
And it's taxed all with our house.
I'm not sure that makes any difference. I'm looking at what this outline here is, and I'm wondering. Relative Is that, which one is?
So originally, when we purchased this property, that particular piece with the green right here was owned by my brother,
Yeah,
and we own this piece.
Yeah.
This is since Pelletier was here, when we gave him a budding piece up here
Yeah.
that was landlocked, and he gave us the easement over here in exchange for that. My husband and I owned this piece. And then it was sold to my son, who later sold it to someone else. This was not part of any subdivision. Tim and I have owned this property for years, maybe since 1998.
So Rich, to get to your question, I'm sorry, it
No, it's
just take me a little time to read through
yeah.
the definition that is 3 pages long. I don't know if anybody else has the definition of subdivision from state statute from.
I have it here.
I have it right
Oh,
here,
okay.
so I can read it.
Yep.
And. Please tell me if this is what your rationale is. This comes from Title 30A, subsection 4401 definitions, and we've incorporated these definitions into the ordinance by reference. We added some more, but that's not relevant here. So, for subdivision means the division of a tract of land into 3 or more lots within any 5-year period that begins on or after September 23rd, 1971. I'm gonna skip some of the things. The term subdivision includes division. Okay, so in determining whether a tract of parcel of land is divided into 3 or more lots, so the subdivision has to be 3 or more lots. The first dividing of tract or parcel is considered to create the first 2 lots. The next dividing of either of these first 2 lots by whomever accomplished is considered third lot. That's what you and I were just discussing, but I think this is the critical piece.
Yeah.
It says unless both dividings are accomplished by a subdivider who has retained one of the lots for the subdivider's only use as a single family residence. That has been the subdivider's principal residence for at least 5 years. Preceding the second division. And that seems to me to apply here. Based on what you told us. I don't know if that was your analysis on or not, but
It was initially, and then if you read page 2 and 3 of this email chain, the transfers that occurred, they add up to more than 3. Cause you got Shorty and Williams who are non-family members. And the title company's even saying the transfer to their daughter was not a gift, therefore is exempt. It's not exempt.
Unless, but didn't they say unless we retained the property for more than 5 years prior,
Okay. Yeah, and then
which we have.
Roy Roberts, they said there's no exemption there either, because transfer tax was paid.
That's not true, because he's an abutting landowner.
Well, we have to go, and also in the beginning of this it says, I don't have the authority to bind the town in these matters. It's this board's decision. So.
We just,
Title company's legal
was the,
department is smarter than I am.
transfers to your family members gifts.
well, when we transferred to Jennifer, we didn't transfer it as a gift. Whoever I was talking to at the time told us that we had to put something down or the value of the land, so we paid a transfer tax. But she is our daughter, and we have owned the property long enough that doesn't affect. Now, our granddaughter, by the time we got to that, yes, that was a gift. 100%.
And that's lot 4. That's lot 4, the run.
Yes, correct.
And under the same ordinance, if you look at D6. That's where it says a division accomplished by the transfer of interest in land to landowners abutting the property does not create a lot or lots for the purposes of this separation.
So, Hunter, could you run past me again, your rationale for why this is a subdivision?
I'm following the directives of the title company. Did you read it?
No, I did.
This is. Start on page 2, if you want to throw it. I mean, you can read it all.
Alright. I'm sorry, I'm good, I can't follow the trail of names. Needs.
Yeah. We're on page 2, the low part or the top part?
This is from John Kerr.
Yes.
Here,
Who's Cole? So, okay,
That's the title company representing.
and, okay, and John Kirk is. The
Also,
title person as well,
yeah, emails gateway title.
so where are we in two? Title company talking just about that, and.
They're from the same company, actually.
they were communicating with each other.
So, one is Crawford Girl or something like that?
So I apologize,
No,
because the names just.
It's understandable, there's a lot.
So just go through their rationale. If we could hook up the names with the lots, that would be helpful. So in the. His first, their first, their thought is first conveyance was, one in 2020 to Pelletier. Which lot is that?
It's the budding,
See, it's,
Okay, yeah,
we got 8.5 by 11 or. 8.5.
that's,
That puts us at a disadvantage.
right, I have a larger file and obviously,
I can show you.
if you wanna look at this one.
This is Pelletier. This was on this axle. This is Roy.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. Okay. This is a buddy division. And this thing's up here. It's now part of that lot, was landlocked, so we transferred that in exchange for the easement over here, so that we could put the road in. I know, right?
Man, oh man.
Okay, the circuit song is playing.
Yeah, I was on.
And then this is where Tim and I live, right here.
Okay.
We own this. And all of this land, so.
So we have the Pelletier conveyance in 2020. We have. SQ?
SQ.
No.
Huh?
I'm sorry, never mind.
No,
Uh,
SQ it was a friend of our daughter's who was a single parent. And we transferred her some land in hopes that she would be able to build. And then she ended up not being able to, so she transferred it.
okay, and that eventually became your daughter's property?
The daughter already had this piece here.
Right,
That was working out of it, this got conveyed to her, so it's all on one lot.
I don't like it, how many.
Wait.
That's what they wrote.
There's no assumption. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, no.
They didn't make it separate lot, they just combined the things, they didn't. They made it a whole lot, right? Oh, what? Yeah,
They did,
they just added it to what they already had.
right. Cause they were letting.
Yes.
which lot is Shorty?
That's the one, I'll show you one. Never mind.
say number 3?
Yep.
I don't think.
Jennifer is lot 1, correct?
Correct.
So it looks like. All of these happened. With the exception of one in 2000. Oh, no, there's 123 and 122.
Yeah.
3 and 22. And Williams is
Lot number 2, a little
slot number 2?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, none of us are attorneys.
Yeah, it would be nice if they would rewrite some of it because it's kind of vague in a few spots and it leaves it kind of up to interpretation.
When your daughter. Who's the owner of lot 1.
Yeah.
Acquired. What had been
That's-
another
Yes,
lot,
you-
was that by sale or was that a gift or what?
No, it wasn't a gift. No,
So she sold it to Jennifer.
right.
But Jennifer already owned the property abutting it, so it was essentially selling it to him.
Yeah, and what year did that happen? 2020?
I think it must have been 21.
I think it was 21. I don't even know.
If it was that, well, it was a bit different than what.
Well, I can understand why.
Yeah.
I got a quick question. Why are you here with a gift or a second?
Because there's an exemption for, gifts to family members, and I was just. Trying to get a full picture, not that that was a gift, would have been a gift from a family member, would have been a gift from somebody outside the family, but. I'm still really struggling to keep the.
Within
I mean-
subdivision scenario, does it make a difference if it's a gift or it's sold?
Yeah, it does, because there is an exemption for gifts, to family members,
Right, but
which comes into play with. Part of lot 1, but I'm not sure it comes into play with the other part,
Right.
and,
The Roy one, though, I don't understand why they wrote in that letter that that's absolutely not exempt from this. That's the one that makes the least sense, because they already owned the abutting property. Vicky sold them that, they're not family, but it's an abutter to the property, so you can sell whatever you want to abutters, whatever, that doesn't affect them. It's not creating a new lot, because it didn't create a new lot, it all got added to theirs. Now, if they'd sold it and then tried to make it into 2 lots, then that would have been different, but they just sold a piece of land that got added onto their existing lot.
Which lot was the Robert?
Yeah, that's the one.
Right around that.
Oh, that's the one behind the.
That's
the house, yeah. See, they own that little piece there, and then Vicky sold them that piece, so.
So I would say that was a map.
Yes, yep.
Is that under Williams? Under Williams? This one, yeah, which is, yeah.
Well,
I know.
For what it's worth, this, and I don't know, $1.75, get you a cup of coffee down at the store, but I come up with 3 lots. Pelletier, Shorty. And then,
mean
and
Will-
Williams.
Pelletier,
Yeah,
Since it was actually, even though it's not anymore, it was at one point.
what's that?
Even though it's not a lot anymore, it was at one point. Oh, wait, no, Pelletier, that's the one.
Pelletier,
Yeah, the Pelletier
They're already-
was.
Oh, I thought.
No, it's not brand new.
Pelletier.
No, they already own that. They just got a little piece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. yeah, they
They
just got a
just,
small.
they just have this piece up here. They already owned all that and they gave it that.
Okay.
They used to
and-
own that, so.
Oh, okay, so it was a land swap and they've owned this since ever.
Yeah, 15 years at least.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Yep.
Well,
Even
and then I don't,
even the skewed one, even though it came back, it went away, they created a lot. And then they uncreated it, but on the books they created it. So,
It did get recorded in the registry as.
so that can't be ignored either.
no, you're right. I guess. Where you dealt with this firsthand here, man.
I haven't been at this.
I've been running into all kinds of weird scenarios with subdivisions lately. And if it's gonna please everyone to create a subdivision and, have Shorty's lot, and Carlene's lot.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, I'm not even the chair, so it's not me, but, my person, I mean. We don't really have a vested interest in this
Right.
being a subdivision
Or not.
or not,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, it's just. What does the
What?
ordinance and state law say, and we're struggling as much as you are.
Yeah.
I may be somewhat confused, but it seems to me that just creating the Shorey lot and the Williams lot creates a subdivision
Except for the proviso that
for 5 years.
they already own it, they've owned it for 25 years and they live on the property.
Yeah, so.
I think the biggest
At least
issue
the-
here,
So you have your lot, the owner's lot, which is just, east of, Shorty Lot 3. That's been in ownership for 25+ years or so. So that's the homeowner's primary residence, so that's exempt.
But the
As well as the big piece of
the
land.
big piece is all.
The big chunk out to the,
Yes.
sort of northwest, or,
Yeah,
yeah, northwest.
and the road that runs in between all the lots is
Yeah.
also,
And these, the lots that are between your parcel and the, McGrath Pond Road, when were they established?
those were all lots that were already done back in the 90s.
Okay, so.
They're just on a map
so they-
because
they're definitely off.
I've been literally
Right.
working on this for 25 years, so that's my map of like. All the changes and there are some things that I've been.
Will
I
this be
don't-
on your gravestone?
Some of the lines, yeah, some of the lines are
I
not,
think so.
don't even have the,
So clearly those 2 lots are out.
Yeah.
They're not, you know,
right, I've got the whole
the
neighborhood on there,
lot-
so.
the owner's lot is out. The, Pelletier property is out. Lot B,
We originally owned the farmhouse too, but that's the whole front from our lot back.
and You own that?
We owned it.
Okay, when
Yeah.
was it conveyed?
Back in 2009.
Okay, 2009, so that's out because it's more than 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm going back.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Process of elimination. So that leaves us with lot 2, which we, in lot 1, lot 3. I mean.
And technically Jennifer, if I understand, doesn't meet the exemption because it was.
Old,
It does meet the exemption because we, her family, owned the property for more than 5 years prior. So if you go back and you read what they said is she's family and we had owned that.
It does say in the ordinance,
They have to
Gifts
gift with
cannot be considered a gift if it's. You cannot give a gift for more than one half of the assessed value. So if you're gonna gift to someone, you can gift, but you can only charge them half of what the land is worth. To a family member.
so I just wanna make sure I understand your argument,
Okay.
that this,
What, I'm gonna read to you what they said. The,
Title company?
bingo, you got it. I'm not used to being up this late. Um, this would be the third lot unless the land retained by Cluley has been their principal residence for the previous 5 years. Well, it has. It's been our residence since
right,
1998.
right. Yeah, but I think Rich's question had to do with this. Part of like, piece of land that. Was broken off. And then your daughter acquired,
Oh, that piece.
yeah.
So it's, yeah, one, 2 lots, and it was sold to her as a lot, but then. Just
Right.
after that, she sold it back to their daughter, but it was a separate lot.
Yes.
So it
It
was-
them.
It
Well, there was one transaction that was for a sale,
Yeah,
and what year was that?
2020.
2020.
Yeah, the infamous year of
Yeah, no,
what?
the only,
We don't like to talk about.
I think what you were hitting at, Rich, but correct me if I'm wrong, that sale in 2020. Which, you know, you wait a little longer, it'd be more than 5 years.
That was my initial.
Creates the third lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it
And
sounds
which lot is that one, the check?
Well, I don't know what to call it,
Does
it's,
it have a number? Not lot 2.
It doesn't, because it doesn't even exist
it is
anymore.
now
It's
part of lot 1.
now part of lot 1.
But, so. So there was a chunk
Well,
here.
if you look up, you see the town tax map. This is what the.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that shows it better, Rich.
Those shows it.
Yeah.
So that was sold, but then resold to the daughter, which is 17G1.
Right.
And I think that might be what they're considering the third lot. But. Like I said, I don't know if waiting. Change this thing.
Well, it's kind of too late. These have transfers have happened
Yeah.
in the time period.
Oh, right, yeah, no,
It's not like we can
do transfer.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you, Hans.
Like we said.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
I can see getting 3 lots.
So then going back to where Adam started this, is if we did a minor, right? Minor subdivision, we only need those 2 lots on it because Jennifer doesn't qualify in that because she is family. And even if you wanted to throw that one on, it wouldn't matter anyway, she's not going anywhere until I die. So. What do we do? We just we wanna get things moving for Charlene, so you tell us and we will do the food thing. And
Well,
I don't know what to say, I'm really, really.
Well,
worried about
let's
this.
go back to the core, the title company doesn't wanna do anything until there's clarity. And they don't want a letter from me saying what's happening. So, do they have to hire an attorney? Do we go through the subdivision and give them what they want? I mean,
well,
So what if they hire an attorney? What's that gonna prove?
a real estate attorney?
Well, no, so that family over there, they hire the attorney, the attorney comes here, the planning board,
No, the attorney would probably argue with the title company.
yeah, but I don't,
their attorney and I with title companies, okay?
Or give them advice,
Right,
alright, they're here, they're looking for advice, I can't give it,
Right, okay,
are you gonna give it?
no, I'm not.
No.
I don't.
all we wanna know is,
Wait a minute,
go
so,
ahead,
alright, so. Without an attorney. They're looking for us to make the town to make a decision. Do we have the authority to make a decision
I think so.
Authority.
for?
Yeah, we're interpreting an ordinance.
To straighten out the exchanges of parcels with deeds and without deeds. The registry of deeds, I mean, this is, what's reported down there at the registry of deeds? Where are all the deeds supporting these transactions? In this mess, where are the deeds?
Well, that's what triggered the title company, is they saw the deeds.
And so, but
They
have
did
we seen the
count.
deeds? This group here.
I haven't been provided to me.
All I've submitted so far is a pre-application,
But,
because this was the
Okay.
first meeting.
so in order for us to make any condition, any kind of decision, we need to see the deed. Right?
I will agree with that.
Well,
Alright. So,
Yeah.
well,
how can we make any actual decision?
your point's well taken, Pete, that, you know, if we're gonna render a opinion that holds water legally. Probably do need to see the deeds, but right at this moment, we're just trying to. Cut our way through the underbrush. To figure out what to tell them, does this. What's happened based on what they're telling us on when, what property was transferred when and what was by a gift and how long these people owned certain lots. I mean, this is kind of fact finding. You know, in our opinion, does this look like it might be a subdivision under the town of Belgrade subdivision ordinance? And,
So let's make that, can we do that decision here right now?
That's what we're trying to do. Sure.
What more information do we need? Do we need deeds to do this?
I'm not on the board, that's,
So, okay, the board, do we need deeds to make that decision, yes or no? George?
I personally, I've come to the conclusion that this is a minor subdivision
that's,
and,
Yeah.
uh,
we agree, we don't disagree with that,
because of the conveyance of that portion of what now is lot one.
right?
And, the sale of that.
So,
And so you know, my personal opinion is, I mean, I'm not gonna speak for the entire board, I'll let each of you make your own decisions, but. The conclusions, but I think this is not, based on what information we've garnered here, a minor subdivision. Of 3 lots.
okay. Do we need deeds to make that decision, yes or no? I
Well. To go back, and as you said, you're here because. Partly you wanted it, you know, our thoughts, but also you've submitted a site sketch and. That step in the first step in the process is for us to vote on, is this a major or a minor subdivision? And to set up a site. Visit if we so should think that it's necessary. Again, my opinion is that this is a subdivision and it is a minor subdivision.
Okay.
And so we need to, if others agree, then we should, have a motion and a vote to that effect.
Well, okay, well, we can make the motion with accept, because I'm gonna say, still need to look at the deeds. We're going on hearsay, basically.
Well, that comes on that checklist,
But
that comes later on the checklist,
On the
that will be provided.
on the what, they come later with the.
On the checklist for the minor subdivision,
Yeah.
Page
the
11,
need for that deed
Okay.
will be there. So
section 3.
tonight, we're only deciding if it's a minor, is a subdivision? Yes, minor or major,
Right.
minor, and we're done.
Well, and we also have the benefit of the work that the title company's done, because they provided dates as well, that confirmed.
Yeah, do they also have the deed references in that?
In this document that Hans gave us,
Alright,
You
Can
get
I-
a title search from
Say
Charlie.
something?
Sure.
please.
The title search.
Alright, minor subdivisions and major subdivisions, planning board will designate each subdivision at a sketch plan meeting as either a minor or major subdivision. Minor subdivisions will be limited to residential, or non-commercial subdivisions only. No more than 3 additional lots or dwelling units leading to a total of 4, no new road. Total area of subdivided lots no larger than 7 acres.
oh,
And I recommend a site visit.
I'm sorry,
I recommend a site visit. And also define what is a new road? Is that a town road? Or
no, it's a subdivision room,
a right of way?
a road, not a right of way, I mean, sometimes they're one and the same, but. Not all right of ways are roadkill.
That's correct.
Okay, then it does say excluded acreage remaining from the original parcel. Which the subdivision is being created,
this. You did up.
so. How many lots do they wanna subdivide, and what's the acreage for them?
So the combined acreage has to be less than 7 acres.
Of all
Which
3
we
lots.
can too. This
Well,
is
not
part
if
of
you-
that.
And they subdivide this 2, they can subdivide this 2.
So, yeah, that would be the acreage. The total of the acreage of the Shorty lot. Lot 2, the Williams lot. And that chunk. That was sold to someone else and then bought by your daughter. The tax map, which is 17G/2.
So that 17.2 is 2.2 acres.
And that, so one of those could be. Considered a lot that was conveyed out within a 5-year period. Correct? Like the first conveyance out of that to a non-family member.
That's what I thought, but you corrected me, Hans, and I can't remember.
Because the subdivision wasn't triggered on. 17.
Because it's a transfer that occurred within a window of time.
Okay, yeah, cause that happened in 2020. Shorty happened in 2022, lot
Let's
3,
see what the tax record.
and lot 2 happened in 2023, so they all happened in the same 5-year
Right.
window, is that what you're saying?
Yes, this one says sale was 2023. April 2023.
Which one was that, 17G2?
Yeah, G2. And this one was in. Well, of 20, so.
Oh, so they got it 20.
No, Stephanie got it in 2020, the same time Jen and the other lots were done.
I'm just showing what's on the tax record. All right, Shorty was in 2022. Charlene still isn't recorded because it's in limbo.
Charlene's isn't recorded where,
On the tax records,
oh,
on tax map. I'm going by the town tax right there.
You get a tax bill? Here. As far as I'm concerned, that's on the tax map.
So the Stephanie thing was 2023.
No,
So you,
From
in
Stephanie
terms of the
back.
total
Oh, to
acreage, it's
Jennifer,
over
yes.
7 acres.
That was it.
that was an abutting land. I'm sorry. Yeah, the total.
So. Yeah, because, math is a.
Math is 6. One's a 6.
So he's
Well,
6 acres.
That one alone puts it over 7, but we're gonna add in, that's 7.37 first, so about 14 includes there. Then this piece, again, that was conveyed to a family member. This was the first one. I thought that's the first one conveyed at all. It's a weird one.
It's still, the benefit to Stephanie was in 2020.
Yes, okay,
So
right,
that still puts 3 within a 5-year period because.
but that was the first one in the first 20 years. So that one they could do, right?
That one shouldn't be counted
It's
because
in a
we.
5-year window.
I'm saying that was the first conveyance out of it.
Okay, so yeah, that one.
That one, we
It
could,
didn't trigger, it didn't
Right.
trigger it until you sold the shorty.
right. So because that was already done, does it need to retroactively be in the subdivision?
Yeah,
Just because you avoided it during that window of time, doesn't mean it didn't happen. So.
No, we didn't avoid anything, that was the first piece that was conveyed out.
Yeah, no, it just,
Do you see what I'm saying?
yeah, no, I do, but I think, the answer to your question is, can you have, you know, a retroactive subdivision or a subdivision that just went unnoticed for a period of time? And the answer is yes, cause, I was on this board back for my latest stint. That's exactly what happened on a property on Route 135.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't doubt that you have to do that, but what I'm saying is, do we have to include that in the subdivision since that was a legal conveyance? That didn't trigger anything when it first happened. Like they had owned the property at that point for 20 years, that was the first piece they conveyed out, which they can do.
Right,
Then
if that's all
this
they
is what
did,
triggered it.
yeah.
But by this triggering it, do we have to add that back in? Cause that one was already done. Conveyed,
I think so. By your own opinion.
because it was all in the past 5 years. Less than 5 years.
Well, they look back through this 5 years.
Yeah,
So in 2023, whatever the last one, they look back from there,
okay,
and that's inside the window.
yeah. So everything was, yeah, I don't understand why they're having fits about things conveyed to the neighboring properties though. Is that even, yeah, still that shows that it's always been one lot. And you can see even
Yeah, I don't know.
our shears,
I don't understand that either, you know. This is almost irrelevant to us, but very relevant to you is. It makes me wonder. Even if we collectively decide we have a subdivision. Maybe a major subdivision because
Yeah,
of the acreage.
because the acreage was going to.
Only, yeah, Would that even satisfy the title company, that, I mean, that.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of goes to your question of what's our role versus, you know. Their role,
I'm gonna reach out, I'm gonna talk to Charlene, we're gonna reach out to her title, to the
Yeah.
title company.
but,
Because to at least, talk with them and clear up the mud if we can, and ask them some questions. What does this take to get this done, get her into her home?
Yeah, cause my loan's gonna go away
Expire.
and start again.
Yep.
I'd be interested in hearing what others think, you know, I've expressed my opinion on.
Well, I think it's a subdivision, but.
Yeah.
I would.
And I think for expedience, we need to do the site visit and start going down this road.
Yep.
And if they have a great conversation with the title company, great.
Right,
Then it
yeah, we just
stops,
wanna
but-
know. Right, we wanna clear up any mud with them so that we understand. Clearly understand.
We wanted to drag you all into the data.
Yes.
Yeah,
thank
we
you
wanna
very
share
much.
the-
Now, I have a little wrench to throw in it. I'm gonna be gone for the next 8 days, so if you need any other paperwork directly from me, I wouldn't be able to get that to you until Monday before the next meeting.
Well, not until the site visit, then you.
Okay.
And
And a site visit you could schedule with Vicky because she lives right there and she knows the property inside out if you wanted to do that.
You wanna pull our calendars?
Are you okay with it?
You-
To be honest with you, I don't know what a site visit's gonna accomplish.
I think you should say it.
You know, I mean, this is all
We,
a legal matter, really.
we live on
rather
a
than-
big mound of gravel, how's that?
What's that?
We live on a big mound of gravel.
Yeah, David Hallwell told me years ago when he built their place, he told me we was living on $1 million mountain there on hill or something. You should have turned it into a big gravel pit back then when you could.
So, planning board, if we do a site visit, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna make, what are we gonna do?
I don't know, that's why I said I'm not sure it's,
Right, so, yeah.
All the pins are in place on all these lots, so
yeah,
they have been for a while.
but.
In there, are we gonna measure them?
I mean, this, you know, let's say this is a subdivision, this is a pretty non-controversial subdivision, I mean, there's not. You know, we're not in the wetland, we're not, you know.
Right, and the lots are contained within.
No one could put his ark where we are. There's no threat of flood.
Where is it? Snail and
Up
Grove?
McGraw, yeah, right across from where Joe's bait shop used to be.
This is it right here.
It was owned by the big
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah.
So this is,
Look, it's shown.
Where is it?
Joey
from?
Jones.
What
Yeah.
road are we talking about?
Booker.
Rock Pond.
Yeah, after that, if you're coming from that sharp bend, it's after that.
It's almost 2 miles from both ends. In the
So-
middle, on the opposite side away
This
from
is
the.
Jennifer's house, right?
Yeah,
And this is.
So that's lot one,
That's where Matt's building.
Mhm.
yeah,
Where's the lake?
And
Where's the
this
lake? I thought.
the part.
on the other side,
You show
Way
the lake?
over.
way over here, right
Yeah.
there.
That's a Rock Pond.
There are already septic systems on 3 lots also.
A gravel.
A Rock Pond, and where's Route 8?
Her name is over there.
That's right across from Joe Doucette's.
I don't know,
There.
I don't know who it is. Okay, so that's a great pond there to the left, okay, and they could take the little right, it takes a real sharp turn, dead man's corner they call it, right?
Mhm.
Alright, you're going down there. Alright. Alright, get back in there, you're going up the hill now, up the, with the ridge, in the ridge. Okay,
Just before Nutterville,
Netters, that's before Netters,
yes,
okay. Alright,
on the left.
The big farmhouse, it's right on the knoll there, that on the, well, depending on which way you're going. It's yellow now, but it
Yeah.
was,
big farmhouse, can you see it from the road?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, it used to
Then
be.
you go down in a little dip in the road and it's, Booker Lane is right off of that.
So, going to the right, down to the lake, what's that road going down to the lake?
Woodcrest.
And where's the YMCA there, something like? Was that-
Way down.
That's way down.
You know,
Way down.
But let's, we gotta focus on this.
So, I guess the mother of the Nutter boys is on the right side of that road?
Yeah, the peacocks live over here.
Uh-huh.
It's over there, okay. Tammy Nutter's down there too, right? Okay. And back, but, all right, okay, thank you. All right,
We. You know, typically as part at the stage, we. Have a vote on whether it's a major or minor subdivision. I mean, if people feel we should delay with that because of all the uncertainties,
Can we vote with that as a subdivision? Or we have to?
do that
I
too.
think it's definitely major, just because of the area of room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
But I only say unless something changed radically as a result of your back and forth with the title company. I don't know what would change in terms of the facts of the case.
Right,
I mean, not, you know, based on what you told us tonight.
So, yeah, I'll just go-
Otherwise, I would suggest that we have a. Make a motion and have a vote on it being a subdivision and what type of subdivision it is, major or minor, and if people want to set up a site visit, decide on that. I mean, those are the things that under this stage, you know, this preliminary, sketch plan meeting, stage, that's all we need to really accomplish.
I wouldn't mind seeing the site or whatever going to it, but at the same time, I think you're right that what we see is going to be physical stuff that we already see on the map, and what it looks like doesn't really matter when it comes to what's on paper. I'm not sure. I guess my thought is, what I think we can vote without the site visit is whether or not we have a subdivision, a major subdivision. And if we wanna then go to the site visit, that's fine.
Well, given all that, just to move the ball forward, I'll make a motion, that. Louis subdivision is a major subdivision.
I'll second.
Voting? Any further discussion on that?
No, other than, as you said, that it's more than 7 acres or whatever that number is, so.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we got a minor one, which would be made it much easier to deal with.
All right, so Mr. Baker. Are you vote yes? Mr. Sergeant?
Yes.
Mr. Shield?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
And Michelle, I'm gonna vote, I vote yes too, so it's five in favor and opposed. It's a major subdivision.
3 lots.
It's a major subdivision,
How many lots are there? Lots?
with 3 lots.
3.
Three with more than 7 acres.
So the application fee would be $300 plus $150. $450.50.
All right,
So the next item is, do people want to do a site visit? I do not. It's necessary.
I don't know if it is now, so you gotta get plans and stuff together.
Yeah.
For a subdivision application, and you can also. You know, why don't you set up an appointment with a real estate lawyer just to explain everything that you explained to us. And see what he has to say. I mean. If you're gonna search all your options.
Right, right.
And maybe we're missing something, you know.
Again, we're not a single one of us, because.
Yeah.
I mean,
You get it.
this is very convoluted, so it's.
Yeah.
Yep.
And. We're just everyday people.
Us too. Just trying to be good to set.
We have had a soils test done on each one, there's actually septic systems on each one already, so
Yeah.
that part we got. One less thing to worry about.
Right. Like what you can get.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gone all next week, there was no one that could make the plan, I mean, my company's pretty small. But as soon as I get back, I can make a plan showing the 3 lots with the septic system location on them and some contours. But I wouldn't be able to get that. And not, I won't be able to get it a week before the next meeting, so we might not be able to do anything the next meeting. So.
Yeah, I mean. Speaking for myself, it's, you know, what you can do is what you can do, and.
Yeah.
Unless you have some. You know, pressing need for this to. From the town's perspective, go forward, I mean. You, the whole, yeah, that's the driving force in terms of the timetable. Not the town of Belgrade. So.
Well. The requirement is that material be presented a week prior to, right, to get on the schedule. Because we have a list of things, still.
Which I hoped to do. at the last meeting, we could put on, because I knew that I was gonna be gone this week. And I could have had it ready for tonight, but this is my first meeting, unfortunately.
Well, we've been very, very full meetings.
Yeah.
We went to 9:30 last week.
Oh, I totally
Without
understand,
here.
but
And you wanna start pointing fingers, this could have happened a year ago.
no, I'm not, I'm just saying that that's why I
No,
cannot get
I mean,
anything
fingers on it.
next.
We're just trying to figure this out and resolve it, because everybody here was surprised, all of us were. So it's not a thing towards you or anybody. We're trying to be good citizens and do what we can to facilitate for Charlene, who's waited for decades to have her own home. That's why we're doing it. And I'm not a believer that no good deed goes unpunished. I'm a believer that good deeds and being good citizens is what we're supposed to be. So regardless of everything else, it's nothing against you or anyone else, because you did put in a good faith effort a year ago with me when we looked at this. So here we are. It's not what's happened in the past. What do we do to resolve it and to move it forward as quickly as we can? Because it's not like you said, it's not like it's a big site visit. We don't have wetlands. We're not near a lake. We live on gravel. The lots are already there. Her home is already on the land. So whatever we need to do to facilitate it, I'm a player. I'm willing to do it. Tim's willing to do it. Adam after his vacation. And, you know, whatever.
We all understand, Mr. Cooley, now, for tonight, I think we have done all we can.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Right,
I totally agree.
and I'm not sure when you will be back on the schedule, but, we already have heard from the board what we,
Mhm.
what we can do and what we try, what you need to do.
Okay, so you all agreed that it's a major, you voted on it, a major subdivision. We're gonna go back to the title company and tell them that we're gonna facilitate it. It may be enough to get
Or
Something-
solve the
from you
Yeah.
saying that,
urgent issue.
right, for them to be able to progress forward.
But we, I guess the way we're gonna leave it is that, we're gonna be hearing from you. On
Yeah.
what you wanna do next. Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay, great. So with that said, it's 9:30 and I don't know if you guys can see it, I'm falling apart.
I'm getting on an airplane in 8 hours, so.
So
But-
I think, rather than going through the minutes, can we table doing the minutes for the next meeting?
But yeah, had one more.
Yeah, so I won't be able to submit any paperwork for the next meeting, so unless Vicky has something from the title insurance people, then I guess we don't even need to be on the next agenda because there's nothing we can do.
Yeah,
Right.
Well,
yeah,
next agenda, we're gonna have Tyler
right,
back. Okay,
right.
and we're gonna have another change of use application, commercial.
Okay.
So that'll be the first meeting for that.
Okay.
I can put you as a third item again.
I wouldn't be able to
Without-
get paperwork into you in time though.
We'll know we
But
get,
if you can provide it, I'm just gonna keep a slot for you.
Okay.
If you
yeah,
can
that would
get
be
it,
great,
That would be,
because we'll do all the legwork between now and then.
because
That's 2 weeks.
we won't have, I'll post it as soon as I get it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's 2 weeks,
Okay.
so we should have. I mean, do you think you can get it in 2
I-
weeks?
Oh, I can get everything before the next meeting, I just can't get it a week before the next meeting. But I'll definitely have everything either Monday or Tuesday, the 14th or 15th.
right?
If that
What
works
are we
for everyone.
talking about as far as what they need is just a cleaned up site plan?
Yep,
To get the ball going, I mean, you saw the process we went through with the
Oh, yeah.
subdivision. I mean, he's further along in the process.
Yep.
than You both, you know. This is different than what he's doing,
Right.
he's working in virgin land, but.
Right.
Essentially virgin land, I mean, the road.
On format.
yep, and the septic designs, I'm sure we can get all of those.
I've got them
Oh,
on.
yeah, he has. all-
Okay, and how many copies of the plan do you want? 8 of them, is that how many you normally ask for?
Enough so that,
One big one, and then if you can send me electronically, I can do it on Ledger,
yeah,
like I did this last one.
I mean,
I mean,
I can make some bigger copies, I've got a plotter
Yeah,
at home, so.
if you can make.
2 or 3.
Yeah, like for,
A
you
couple
know,
big ones and some smaller ones.
three or four of bigger ones, so I mean, it's
Yeah.
really tough looking at these eight.
Oh, yeah,
by
absolutely,
11s,
yeah.
and I mean, at home, I get a magnifying glass out, so I can.
Here's my glasses.
Yeah, I can do that, no problem. So if that works for you guys. So is there a preliminary application also that goes,
Yeah, that's what you'll be submitting,
okay, and that's right on the website?
yeah, the subdivision ordinance.
Okay.
And the whole section on
Well, yeah,
preliminary.
We don't have a preliminary. It's the same one he filled out.
Well, the application, yeah, the application's the same.
That's the part
It's
you already,
other,
okay,
it's the other submittals.
the other stuff that we need. And I'll get copies of all the deeds of everything that's happened on here over the past 10 years, so that you'll have.
Okay. So the-
Awesome, well, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Now we'll all sleep well.
Yes.
Oh, now she'll be confused.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, so that said, yeah, we table the, hold the minutes from next meeting in light of the time that we, written on. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Mr. Baker,
Oh, for voting, yes.
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 Mr. Surgeon, yes. Yeah, Mr. Shields
Yes.
and Mr. Alexander
Yes.
and Mr. Rangel say yes, and we are done for the night.